So 110% undivided attention all day, every day. Let's go. Welcome to the show. Today, my guest is Britney Fiandra. Yes, said that right? Yes,
Yes, you got it right.
she's got a Master of Science and she is a licensed dietitian and she is here to share with us a little bit about her journey today. It is so nice to meet you. Thank you for being on the show. How are you?
Excellent. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here speaking with you today.
Excellent, excellent. Me too. Okay, so I just wanted to jump right in here. I'm curious. Give me a little bit about your background, your story. Where'd you come from? Tell me about yourself.
Yes, absolutely. You know, my background has many facets to what brought me here where I am now in my life. And really, what I would love to start with sharing is my 12th year on this beautiful planet had a lot of events go on.
Okay.
And really, there's two in particular, well, three in particular that I'll touch on real quick.
Okay.
One of them was me joining the cross country team in middle school on a whim. All
Okay.
right. So I
Ooh.
had some friends joining, and little did I know that they had zero running experience, but somehow joined the team and were running light years beyond me. So
Yes.
I was trailing behind them by a few minutes, and practice after class was not quite as fun when my friends were, leaving me in the dust.
Right. So a little bit of motivation there.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, with me being a few minutes behind them at practice, I wanted to increase my speed. And
Yes.
so that's really one of the first dives into nutrition that I found because I started looking online. And back then it was a little harder to find all this information on nutrition
Yes.
online that we have now.
Oh man. Yeah, it's
It was a
exponentially
little,
increasing by the
yes,
day.
exactly, exactly. So, I found some research though and saw that nutrition can increase physical performance and your running speed. So, there was one day in particular I had an apple juice.
Okay.
Not saying that like apple juice, highly processed form, is incredibly nutritious, but I did have an apple juice
Hmm.
before a meet to give myself some kind of fuel. I was used to not having any fuel before
Right.
these meets, and that one apple juice cut a minute off my mile time, and my coaches were beyond themselves. They were like, what did you do, Brittany? I didn't practice anymore. I didn't do
Yeah.
anything.
Just
I
that.
literally
Just
just
that
had an
glucose
apple juice.
spike.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
So that kind of showed me, okay, there's something to this nutrition.
Right.
And
So there's like an input and a direct result on the output of what happens physically. Yes.
exactly,
Yes, that's a
exactly.
good
So
light bulb moment for you.
it
That's a
was
young
a
age to have that happen too as well. That's really cool.
absolutely, absolutely huge light bulb moment. And so that kind of progressed. I started learning more about nutrition, and I did have a few extra pounds that needed to be shed so that I
Hmm.
could run a little bit quicker and be lighter on my feet. And so I just kept improving my nutrition. And, the after the first year of my cross country team, I did make it to a local championship meet
Nice.
on my senior year. So
Yes.
it all paid off.
So it all progressed to the climactic. Nice, that's beautiful.
Exactly,
I ran some
exactly.
track as well. That was really fun. I wish that at the time I was in seventh grade, so I wish at the time I had understood the input output mechanism because I was just eating crap all day, every day,
Absolutely.
sugar, candy, ice cream, sodas, just nothing.
Right? And as all kids are, right?
Yeah, oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, but then it's interesting to realize, our parents simply did the best that they could at the time with the tools that they had, and there's nothing you can do. So it's all about the
Absolutely.
moment and the future. That's cool.
They put on the table what was available to them, and
Yes.
they they did the best they could, really. And
Yeah.
now things are turning a little bit, but excellent. So that was, yeah, one
Number
story with
one.
the,
What's number
yeah,
two?
cross country. So number two was really my grandmother. So
Okay.
I was the closest to my grandmother. We called her Nanny Bootsy because she would dance on the dance floor in cowboy boots. And
Yes. That's a great name, Nanny Bucci.
Nanny Bootsy. So yeah,
Oh
lots of
man.
lots of fun times going to the mall and getting, or yeah, really it was Target, getting chocolate chip cookies from Target every morning
Yes.
before church. But anyway, she ended up getting sick my in my 12th year, so I guess that was seventh grade.
Hmm.
And she went in for open heart surgery. So she had heart issues. She went in for open heart surgery. She came out of surgery great. I was helping her to recover.
Hmm.
My mother actually sent me a picture of a name tag that said Dr. Britney, which my grandmother had got me because I was taking such good care of her.
That's cute. That's really, really
It was
sweet.
amazing. I can't believe she still has it. It's like
Yeah.
tons of years later, but
Wow, that's sentimental. That's
it
amazing.
is. It
Yes.
is. It
I'm the
is.
most
It
sentimental person in the world.
is.
I have a briefcase of like little trinkets of memories throughout my entire lifetime that I just keep away, and that's the one thing that I'm grabbing if there's a fire. Just grab that thing.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's important. All these sentimental pieces just add so much value to our life and
Yes.
have a purpose, right? And
Yes.
so it's just so interesting.
And lock in a memory.
And lock in a beautiful memory,
Yes. Which
And
that's a cool
so,
memory.
yes, absolutely. So
So
I
you're
took
taking
care of
care of her.
her. I fed her. I helped her walk. I mean, I was pretty much her caregiver
Hmm.
at the time, and she was doing great. She went back in for surgery and to get closed up because when you have open heart surgery, it is kind of like a big opened wound that you have down your entire chest.
Like
And
even afterwards?
even afterwards, it's like gaping. It's a good like I don't know if any nurses are going to be listening to this, but yeah. I mean, I pretty much have one on my shirt too. I wish I could show you, but
Yeah.
it's a gaping like 2 to 2 inch wound that's
Ooh.
right down the
And
chest.
they
So,
and then they gotta like let that heal for a little bit and then go back in later and seal it
and
up.
then stitch it up, yeah, because you can't stitch it. It's too wide to stitch up until you heal
Oh,
it.
that makes sense. So it's got to heal from the like layers underneath and then come up and then finally
Absolutely.
pull the end together.
And I cannot believe, I mean, I was 12 years old. I am the most squeamish person ever. In fact, in high school, in my biology class, they called me blood because I would like nearly faint if we were ever talking about blood. So
Yeah.
when I was 12 years old, I was putting dressing, so bandages, in my grandmother's like stomach. And
Uh,
seeing all the layers, like if you can picture the Earth's crust, all the
oh,
different layers of the Earth crust, you
yeah.
see that there. Yeah. Anyway, I know.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably
no,
not
it's
the most
cool.
pleasant, but
Yeah, no, let's go. There's no rules on this show. There's no
no
rules.
rules, no
There's no
rules.
rules. No.
So
Wow.
I helped her. I helped her heal. Anyway, she went back in for surgery,
Hmm.
and that's where things took a little turn for the worse. So, by the way, I do know I'm talking with my hands. That name Fiandra is
Please.
Italian. So
Please do it. I'm
there we
Italian
go.
too. I'm
There
Italian
we
as
go.
well. I trust me. If I didn't have this mic, I'd be all all in here. Trust me, I
All over.
understand.
Excellent.
It's actually
Excellent.
hard for me to keep my hands here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm trying to hold him down. So,
No, you're good. Use them.
use them. That's what they're there for, especially with that Italian heritage. So, give me a pizza pie.
Oh man. Yes.
And so my grandmother went in for surgery in the hospital, and that's where things took a turn for the worse. So, she came out of surgery. She was fine, but within a week, she started getting progressively worse. And
Hmm.
actually, we were able to trace it back to medication that was pushed through market a little too quick. Might be a few medications that are pushed through market a little too quick, but this one
Yes.
in particular was
Yes.
a definite like big no-no. It
Uh-huh.
impacted a lot of people's lives.
Like one
And
of those disclaimer commercials that you see years later.
yes, exactly. Like
Yeah.
if your loved one was on this med, yeah,
You might
please
be entitled to
kindly-
compensation.
Exactly.
Yeah, I took one of
Exactly.
those drugs, man. I took Accutane actually.
Oh, yes. So that's a quick way to shut down our kidneys.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I took it for 2 years, like on a high
Well,
dose, man.
and you know what a heck of a med. You know, we just want some clear skin, right? And
And
then
it's just
so the Accutane will help with acne, you know, supposedly, and but there are so many side effects, including yes,
man.
kidney issues,
Yeah,
autoimmune issues.
I had a friend's mom who she was like, "You need to get your eyebrows done." So we went and she took me to a waxing thing and I got it waxed while I was on Accutane, and my skin was so sensitive it ripped off all my skin. And so like I had huge scabs here underneath and above and right here for like 2
Wow.
weeks. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was a crazy
Wow.
experience.
And what brought you? What got you off of Accutane?
I finished. I did my whole cycle. Yeah, yeah. I didn't. Yeah, stupidly.
Awesome.
I wish I
Well,
didn't.
well, at least you didn't do it for several years because there could be side effects really for any medication. It's just
Yeah.
Accutane
It's
has
specifically.
been one. Yeah, that's been one that has stuck out to me anyway in some of the research. I mean, yeah. So
Interesting.
no matter what we take, supplements or medications or food, we always want to be just careful, right?
Yes.
And kind of ask
Do your
like, how do
research.
I feel exactly? Do your research and all
Yeah.
of this. So unfortunately, there was no research on this medication that my grandmother was given, and
Yes.
so she ended up passing away. And that was a difficult thing to go through. Of course, any family member, especially when they're giving you cookies.
Yeah, I
Um,
went through that at the same exact age. So
oh,
yeah, seventh grade. I understand. My grandma died at that age from bone cancer all over her
wow.
body. Yeah, so yeah, I can relate to
It's a
that
big
difficulty.
age.
Yeah.
It's a big age, yeah, for the both of us. That's so
So,
interesting that yeah,
yeah,
your mom
which
had it.
one of the reasons contributing factors that I've actually only realized recently to my decision to become like healthy and things was I've seen three people die really shitty deaths. Like
Oh
my
wow.
two grandparents from bone cancer. My other grandfather died from he actually was paralyzed from the waist down for 18 years before he died because he didn't take care of a cold, and it lodged into his spine and ate it
Wow.
away. And so like that's one thing. Then you're in a wheelchair for 18 years, and then he didn't take care of himself there, and it was just a really slow 18-year decline. It is a very interesting thing to watch.
Whew.
Yeah, so
That's not
that'll
an easy thing to watch.
no, and it'll definitely light a fire under your ass to take care of your own body.
Yes, to
Yes,
take care of your own body and to be in tune with your body and listen to your body. We get little check engine light signals all the time in our body, little pains.
that's a good. I like that. I like that analogy. I use the
Hmm.
analogy of this is your meat vehicle. I got it. Well, I got it from Joe
Yeah.
Rogan. But the
Uh
analogy of this
huh.
is your meat vehicle. You got one ride. You can't. You don't get another lease. You don't get to get a new car. Premium oil, premium gasoline, racing tires.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And why is it that we're taking some of us, especially in the male population? I know I'm not really so great at taking care of my car, but I know in the male population or even just other folks are taking care of their actual physical cars better than their bodies. And I'm just like, where were
Yeah.
the who like where did these priorities get skewed here? We all
American
need to
dream.
we need to do like a little check here. We need to get back in check. And actually, it's so funny because for years I've been saying with my clients, I've been saying I don't want to take the heat on this. So I don't know if I should be telling you this, but I've been saying I wish that like someone up above, whoever it is, the universe, spirit, God, whatever, I wish they had a big red pause button that they could press, and they could press it and make it so that we all have to take a pause on life and get our priorities straight. Like we should not be
That'd be
able
cool.
to live life. We should not be able to enjoy traveling and family vacations and friend interactions until we can take care of those kind of like pillars of health, which would be eating good nutrition, getting good water, getting movement in, getting sunlight, sleeping, and then some stress management techniques. So maybe it's
That is,
meditation or
those are
deep
beautiful
breathing.
pillars. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And so if we get those in check, then we should be able to get the green light to pass go on the monopoly board. But
Right.
until we get those pillars in check, we shouldn't be able to enjoy all of this beautiful world that we have. And so I was kind of saying, like, I wish there was a pause button so we could all get these items in check. And I'm like eating my words now, that we've all had this great quarantine action going on,
Yes.
because it is.
Yes. It's a pause button.
That pause button has apparently been pressed, right?
Hmm.
And so I think it's actually a beautiful thing because we are able to reprioritize our tasks so that we can take care of this meat suit or this car, this actual vehicle, which is the most important vehicle in this world. Because if I don't take care of this vehicle, I can't go cruising around in my Tesla up to Sedona or wherever it might be. You
Exactly.
know?
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's so right. Okay. So second instance was your grandma passed away.
Mm-hmm,
Was
mm-hmm.
that it
And
for that one, or are you moving on to
and
this?
well, with the grandmother passing away, that's where I just kind of a family member, I think it was my mother, had mentioned, oh yeah, like diet and what you eat plays a role in your heart health. And so if we eat, high fat fried foods, that's going to cause issues. So I remember my mother like didn't have much of a sense of nutrition, but she at
Hmm.
least told me, French fries are fried foods. We want to stay away from fried chicken. We want to stay away from the salt. We want to stay away from. So then I just started kind of looking more at the different angles there with nutrition for specifically heart health at that age. And then the third story would be so one night I was up watching a Food Network special,
Hmm.
and they were featuring a health resort in Tucson called Canyon Ranch.
Okay.
And on that show, there was the corporate chef plating up a meal which had like fresh grilled salmon, like wild caught, with all these different vegetables cut in these unique ways, and then like this colorful, like bright red sauce on the plate. And
Ooh.
I saw this plate. Yeah, ooh, right?
Ooh.
I have my mouth watering right now.
Yeah, yeah, already. That sounds good.
It looked amazing, and so I saw that plate and I was like, wow, like all right, like I could eat that, like no problem. That looks delicious.
Right.
Why doesn't that look like the meals that I'm getting served at home? I mean, shout out to mom and dad, like for feeding me like at least some kind of food. But I mean, I was getting KFC. I was getting white mashed potatoes, a
Mac and
brown,
cheese.
yeah, the yellow mac and cheese, the brown glue. Like, I mean, I think of Elmer's glue when I think of the KFC gravy. That's like the consistency,
That's
right?
fair.
You feel
That's
me on
super
that?
fair. Yeah. It's good though. It's so good. I was actually talking about the KFC $5 Phillip bowls yesterday. Oh my goodness, those are good.
Oh goodness. Oh,
I haven't had one in a
but how
few
do you
years though.
feel afterwards? You
Not
know,
that great.
it's been a few years. How do you
Yeah.
feel after it?
Yeah,
I'm
not
sure
that
you wouldn't
good.
be feeling too great.
Mm-mm.
You probably need to go book an appointment with a dietitian to help you with all your GI issues or your gut issues. I hope
Yeah.
that. And then what else? Brown and white, like fried chicken. So like, if you think it's KFC, it's all brown, beige, white, grayish colors, versus what was being plated up on this Food Network
Rainbow.
series. Rainbow,
Yeah,
rainbow,
rainbow.
rainbow. And something about that rainbow spoke to me that night. And
That's
so,
really cool.
yeah,
See, when I was
yeah.
that age and I saw that shit, I was like, I don't want it. Like,
I don't want that rabbit food.
no, like, up until actually, there was my dad got remarried and she liked organic milk and she was a little bit healthier in things, and so they had it in the fridge, and I literally, the exact words to my dad, I was like, I do not want that healthy milk, give me the poison. It's crazy how ignorant we can be, or like when you just don't like, and that wasn't, it was due to a lack of understanding of the actual consequences of your actions, which is interesting. You know, it's like I didn't understand. Like I just thought organic tasted bad. I was like, that was all that I knew. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And you thought it was all like smoke and mirrors, and
Yeah.
you thought poison was all a joke. Like,
Yeah.
my body can handle it.
I used to call people goody two shoe health nuts. It's like, get away from me.
Yes.
Get away from me.
Yes. And then what jolted you to kind of realize that this is not a goody two shoe thing anymore? It is like a reality.
Probably my brother's journey. He was going through some crazy troubles in life and hit up against the brick wall like a million times, and he decided, okay, I don't know what I need to do, but I need to do something and change everything in my entire life. And so it had nothing to do with food originally, but he found this religion called Jainism, which is kind of like in the family of Hinduism. And one of them is being a vegetarian. And so he started on the vegetarian thing, then he became a vegan. And then once he was turning into the vegan, he started getting into the idea of health and nutrition. And then once he started doing research, he realized that that's really not probably the best idea. So then he switched back to meat. And so then it's just been this whole journey of seeing him go through this. And then he introduced me to like podcasts like Joe Rogan, and then Joe Rogan introduces you to all these other health experts. And then once you listen to it for a few years and you become not ignorant, you just can't help, like once you know and you understand, you can't help but like you eat that cake and you're like, oh my god, this is death. You know.
Right, yes, absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and the thing is too, the more you clean your body out, the more you can feel it in your own body that it is death.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just not everybody, but there's so many folks out there eating the standard American diet, which would be, you know, if I had to explain it, McDonald's, boxed products like hot dogs,
Processed foods,
mac
things
and
that come in
cheese,
plastic.
all the items with like 20 ingredients on the food label that you need a chemistry degree to understand.
Fudge
So-
crackers.
Right? Yeah.
Literally fudge crackers.
Literally, yeah. I had a lot of mac and cheese in my day too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and chili
Yeah.
cheese dogs, and just like, oh goodness.
I heard somebody word it one time that people live in a constant state of inflammation and never recognize it because it's
Ooh,
just
that is
constant.
beautiful. That's it. they live in a constant state of inflammation, and so they get used to the pain. Like, so inflammation is going to cause pain in the body,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to cause dysfunction in the body, and then the dysfunction leads to disease.
Right.
So pain, disease, dysfunction is what inflammation will kind of cause. And where is that inflammation going to go? You know, what happens if it goes to your brain?
Mm-hmm.
Now I have brain fog.
Yeah.
I might have ADD. I might have ADHD.
Yeah.
It might eventually, that cloud of smoke could eventually turn into dementia and Alzheimer's.
Man,
That's just
yeah,
the
that stuff
brain.
is so scary. Oh,
That's
that was the other thing that I
scary.
forgot. Yeah, my other grandfather, he went down with Parkinson's. Yeah, so Parkinson's, bone cancer, paralyzed, slow death. So don't do any of those things, people. Take care of everybody.
Not worth it. And that's
No.
another thing too, you know, like I asked like what kind of brought you out of that like ignorance, right? And thank goodness, you know, podcasters out there like Joe Rogan and just everybody,
Yes.
everybody's coming out now. Like I
Yeah.
think we all, everybody's waking up to the fact that nutrition, yeah, this is like no longer a joke. But as difficult as it is, I'm so thankful that my grandmother was in my life, and
Yes.
I wish she was here longer, of
Mhm.
course. But I'm so thankful that she was in my life and was so close in my life, because I was able to learn through watching her what can happen to not super amazing nutrition choices throughout your life, right? And so that was my wake up call.
Yeah.
And it's so much, I just beg people out there to like not have to go through their own wake up call, okay?
Yes.
Because you don't
Yes.
want to be the one sitting in the hospital room after your first heart attack with
Or
all
with
the
COVID.
IVs or COVID. Yeah,
Yeah, like take your vitamin D, guys.
yes. Vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc,
magnesium,
magnesium,
ashwagandha,
yes,
all
get
of the
it
above.
going, get it going, because your immune system you can build up. You know, your whole body you can build up to prevent conditions, whether it's a viral infection, another kind of infection, or any kind of chronic disease like diabetes, heart disease, Parkinson's, dementia, fatty liver disease, kidney disease. These are all things that can be preventable, and you know, even autoimmune conditions can be hugely and wildly impacted. So it's just
Yeah, especially
incredible.
Jordan Peterson and his daughter. Do you know about them?
No, I don't.
They
Go ahead.
have, I don't know exactly what autoimmune disease they have. I know that the daughter, she grew up, she had like hip replacements, both hips replaced by the time that she was in like high school or something. So, and they both switched to a carnivore diet, and it completely, all of their diseases 100% went away. Like, I'm not advocating carnivore diet, I don't know. But for them, that's what they did. And so, like, for instance,
Incredible.
they made a stew once. So like they eat red meat and salt. That's it. All the time.
Amazing.
And so they made a stew, like a bone broth stew at one point, and he put a little apple cider vinegar in there, and just the apple cider vinegar made him bedridden for like 30 days.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy how sensitive
Incredible.
people could be.
How sensitive, yeah, how sensitive the body can be.
Yeah.
And you know, if that can make someone bedridden for 30 days, what can get them out of bed for the 30 days? It's
Right.
it's so interesting how these nutrients and these different foods can really impact our body to
Yes.
create inflammation or escape inflammation. And that's kind of what I tell my clients too. You know, every bite of food, you have the chance to increase the inflammation in your body or decrease it. Which one do you want to be on? Which side of the scale? Knowing that inflammation can cause disease,
Yeah.
pain, and
Yeah.
dysfunction, which way do you want to go? And that's just so
Yes.
incredible.
You definitely feel the effects. 100%.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, with nutrition too, you know, since you brought up kind of like a story of autoimmune
Yeah.
conditions, one thing that the audience would probably benefit from knowing too is there's a doctor, Dr. Terry Walls, that created her own diet protocol after healing herself with
Okay.
diet and nutrition. She had multiple sclerosis, which until we didn't think
Multiple
could be-
sclerosis, that's MS disease, right?
Yep.
What
yep,
happens
yep,
with MS disease?
So with MS, it's pretty much your body creates these brain lesions, and it causes you to lose function of your whole nervous system. I mean, she was in a wheelchair, unable to really walk, and was just having other cognitive issues. And that's what
Is
happened with
is that
MS.
progressive over time, or is it
Usually
different
yes.
per person? Is it
It's
different per
different per
person?
person. Yes, it's very individualized, as is like most of these conditions, right?
Yeah.
But with MS, yeah, it usually does progress, and there's really nothing that the doctors until her could do about it. But she
And
created
she
a
fixed it with.
she found her own method with nutrition, and yeah, fixed it for herself, and
What's your
then
name again?
created. What's her name?
Yeah.
Dr. Terry Walls.
Terry Walls.
Yep,
That's cool.
yep,
Okay.
yep, yep. So that's Walls, WAHLS, and it's just incredible. And so she's up and walking around now. She's like, doing her thing as a doctor, and
Yeah.
it's just beautiful.
That's
And
magnificent.
yeah, and just one more on that note. I do have a client that I'm working with now with a bone autoimmune condition, and when she was eating a more inflammatory diet, she would describe the bone pain as if there were like little like leprechauns inside her body hammering at her bones. And
Ooh.
yeah, it doesn't sound pleasant, right? And
No.
ever since I've been working with her, we've gotten those little leprechauns out of her body. She hasn't been feeling those bone hinges anymore for the past 7 months. So,
That's
and
really
it's just,
cool.
and we're gonna,
Congratulations.
yeah,
Like that's
thank you,
yeah.
yeah.
That's gotta
It's
feel
just
good to help
incredible.
somebody like that. Yeah.
It does, especially the autoimmune patients. They aren't really given much hope, and
Yeah.
so that's yeah
Because
another
in the
little
standard
highlight.
medical system, they don't really have much answers for that, do they?
No, no, it's really just like managing symptoms
Here's some
and
pain pills if it's too bad.
exactly, exactly, exactly. It's
Okay.
yeah.
So did we get to number 3?
That was yes, the food,
The
the
food?
resort. Yep, yep,
Okay.
yep. So being plated up
See the
and yeah.
food. Okay. So you got the grandma dying. I forgot. I'm so bad. First one?
So grandma passing away. The running
Track
on the
track
cross
and
country
field.
team. Yep.
Yes, and then the
Mm-hmm.
plate of food.
And the plate
Okay.
of food.
So that is the 3 bam bam bam. Okay. And it happened at from 12 to or all in the same year?
All of that
All
really happened when I was 12. Yeah.
Woo! What a year. Some
What a
light bulbs.
year.
Bam bam bam.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So what did your path look like from 13 to did you obviously have a master's, so I guess like 24?
Yep, 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 yep. So 13 through 24. Oh goodness, well, somewhere around in that time frame, I was actually diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune thyroid condition.
Okay.
And so I dealt with that for a few years, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 5 or 6 years, and then
What
I
are
started.
the symptoms of that? What does that look
Oh
like?
goodness, it's horrible. Um,
Sorry about that.
no, it's really
Congratulations.
there's actually way worse out there, all right, but it's definitely not a fun condition to have. So weight gain, like unexplained weight gain,
Yes.
very difficulty losing weight, not
Mm-hmm.
fun in the teenage years, right? Brain fog, again, not fun in the teenage years. You can have like thinning hair and hair loss, feeling cold all the time, kind of having like pins and needles through your feet and your or hands. Um, Goodness, sleeping issues, stress issues. It's just yeah, all of the
Yeah.
above.
Yeah. I think I've known a
Not
few
fun.
people with that. Because I've
Yeah,
heard people describe living with those exact symptoms, but
and and the fatigue too, like the fatigue of like really not being able to get out of bed, no matter how much coffee you were to drink. It's like
Mhm.
it's a whole nother level of just like this black cloud over you because that's just like pressure keeping that energy down. So it was not fun. But along the way, I was learning about nutrition in
Mhm.
high school and just kind of reading up on my own.
Yeah.
And I discovered that yeah, nutrition can play a role in Hashimoto's too. So for that protocol, actually like a gluten dairy free diet
Right.
does help with that specific autoimmune condition. I do encourage everybody to work with a dietitian if they have a certain autoimmune condition or something going on,
Of course.
or even working to transition to a gluten free and dairy free diet properly, because there's
Do
yeah.
you recommend dairy free for everybody?
No, not for everybody. Not for everybody. It really just depends on what their goals are. I can say when it comes to dairy, if we are going to keep it, the thing is the conventional products, the conventional dairy products that are on the shelves, because of how we process them and what's needed in order to make milk and yogurt and cheese, a lot of these things can be inflammatory, so I am very cautious for anybody to have these dairy products.
Mm-hmm.
However, everybody's body's different. Some people can handle a little bit of these inflammatory agents. So it just depends on the diet. But I do like to kind of push people, if they are going to have dairy, more towards the organic forms and the cleaner versions that are
Right.
out
Or
there that can
ghee,
be, yeah.
grass-fed butter. Hmm.
Exactly,
Is
exactly.
there I kind of moved completely away from milk. I do almond milk, but
Hmm.
then I do ghee or grass-fed butter. I mostly cook with olive oil, but
Hmm.
I do organic cheese. But isn't that still pasteurized? I'm not even. I've heard people throw that word around saying it's bad. I don't actually understand it, but isn't it pasteurized and all of the different other things that still makes processed cheese bad?
Mm, so the pasteurized part, I would say, isn't like really like the biggest issue with making of cheese. At least
Hmm.
it's more so like the added hormones that might be involved with making conventional cheese versus organic cheese. So we are
Okay.
missing out on certain, yeah, hormones and additives in organic versus conventional. So
Cool.
the organic cheese would
Yeah.
still be a better
And
version.
a good thought for you, or not for you, but for other people, is like organic. Like, think about it this way: you can either pay $2 more for that bag of cheese, or you can pay $2 million later in health costs. Probably a little bit less than exaggerated. Or that was a little bit exaggerated, but not too much.
I can't even say that it is exaggerated anymore. I mean, I remember in high school having a teacher that had a heart attack, and like his hospital bill was $100,000 for one heart attack, and
Yeah.
luckily insurance covered $90,000 of that. But
$10,000 still a lot.
right. And the thing is, but you mentioned 2 million, and I'm saying here, yeah, like 100,000. Like people are like, oh, well, that's nothing. But the thing is, what happens after that heart attack? Now you have a higher risk of stroke, and so
Yeah.
that might be another hospital bill. You have another risk of getting, heart issues, or you
Your
might
health
need a,
insurance goes up per month. Your
yeah,
deductible goes
exactly.
up. Everything goes up.
Exactly. And then you get put on some kind of heart medication, which could possibly cause liver or kidney issues. So it's just not worth it. So yes, do you want to pay more? Do you want to pay the $2 more? Or do you want that, yeah, $2 million bill? But also, besides that, and I love that you brought this up. Besides the money factor, can you put a price on your brain health and the motion of your physical body and the health of your physical body? Because even if I had, what if it was a stroke that I had? That hospital bill is going to be expensive, and all of those follow-up neurology, cardiovascular, visits, and having to take off work for all of those
Hmm.
visits, that's going to be expensive. But you know what is really here, the bigger picture? The fact that after a stroke, I might not have my full brain function back. Okay,
Oh
I might have a
shit! Yeah.
droopy face. I might not have
Oh.
movement of my arm. So that's your quality of life. And can I put a price tag on my quality of life?
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
Just
Definitely not. No, no, no. I'm gonna butcher the quote. I don't know. I forgot the kick, the punchline of it, but it's something along the lines of, you know, once you get sick, you realize that nothing else matters. Like, even if it's a cold or a flu, like just getting bedridden, for a couple of days and feeling like shit and not being able to do anything. Once that happens, you realize that literally nothing else in the entire universe matters more than your health, because when the health is gone, you can't do anything else.
you can't do anything else. Exactly. And like not being able to have that energy to get out of bed, not or being in too much pain to be getting out of bed. Like these are all little wake up calls that I would say are good to have, to be a reminder of our health. Like I remember one day not being able to get out of, or I mean, sorry, I remember one day waking up and I had slept weird, and I remember it felt like I had like a spear sticking out of my back, and I remember trying to walk that day,
Yeah.
and I felt like I could barely move. I could
Hmm.
barely turn my back. I don't know what I did, but anyway, I remember walking outside and I was literally doing like tip toe, and I remember there was like a 80-year-old woman walking outside right next to me, and she was like like gliding right past me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm like tiptoeing. I don't
Oh
know what's
man.
wrong with me, but that was such a beautiful day to be like,
Yeah.
wow, Brittany, like let's take a pause button and give appreciation for your legs. And so I remember like I had got some like physical therapy done, and I was right back, to like
Yeah.
sprinting around and all this. But I remember that whole next week I was outside hiking on the mountains in Arizona, and
Because
like
you're
just
appreciating the
being
shit out of
so,
it, having that
yeah.
gratitude. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So whether it's some kind of back pain or some kind of cold that does knock us on our butt, it's a good just reminder of like don't
Yeah.
take this for granted. But we'd rather have those mini wake up calls than have a total like stroke or heart attack. We don't want to have that blunt,
Yeah. You don't want to
jerky.
wait until it's too late.
Exactly,
Until
exactly,
it's too late.
exactly. So
Hmm.
hopefully we can all just learn from these stories of what other people go through.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about being human, though, is that we have the ability to see something over there and experience none of it, and
Mhm.
learn from somebody else's mistakes without having to
Mhm.
feel the bluntness of the reaction of whatever happened.
Exactly.
That's such
Exactly.
yeah, that's a
So
magnificent
beautiful.
thing that we have. I love
It
that.
is. It is. It is.
So you're in high school, you're dealing with your autoimmune disease, you're researching things, and then what happens next?
So, yep, high school researching things, and then pretty much what happened next. I started just improving my diet one by one and feeling better. And then I enrolled at the age of 18 in a culinary school at
Nice.
Johnson.
I
Yeah,
want to go to
yeah, yeah.
culinary school so
Oh my
badly,
gosh,
but I don't want to
amazing.
spend $30,000.
Oh, you mean $120,000, right?
Woo!
Woo!
That's
Yeah,
it. Where'd you go?
yeah,
Cordon
yeah.
Bleu?
Right? I mean, so it was a pricey one. So I went to Johnson in Wales, out
Okay.
in Providence, Rhode Island. So one of the top culinary schools in the country, in the world,
Yeah.
really. And so, you're paying for it,
Oh
and
yes.
you're paying
Oh
for it.
man.
I can't really complain. We had wonderful ingredients to utilize, and we got to just learn all about these different exotic fruits and vegetables, and the
That's really
teachers were
cool.
world class. So it was a like a what is it? Just a wonderful lifetime experience. But go ahead. Were you gonna say
No,
something?
no, no, no.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So it was just wonderful. But there was you know, what I want to say is the culinary school that I went to, um, it was intense. I mean, it was like 7 a.m. classes to like 7 p.m.
What?
I
Just
remember,
whisking away.
yeah, just whisking away and like using like headlamps to go in there was a meat cutting room where we would learn how to butcher meat, and
Yeah.
we would have like headlamps. I'm kidding about the headlamps, but we would have to like go searching after our class to we would have to clean up after every class, and we'd have to go searching in like little crevices of like knife containers, like boxes and knife bags and just like equipment. We had to look everywhere along this meat cutting room to see where our professor hid little pieces of like meat. He would hide them on purpose to make sure that we were cleaning. Okay, that's how cruel it was. How
That's smart.
it was smart. It definitely broke us down, right? It
Yeah.
definitely we were turned into like little like maggots pretty much in that class, like just breaking down everything, every bit of like morale that we had in us, to go and find these little scraps of food that he would hide on us and
Yeah.
everything. But
Wow,
I mean
man.
that's and
That's
even going
intense.
that was intense. And a better example too is before each class, we would have to show the professors like our socks that were up to our knees. We'd have to show that our shoes were polished. They'd check for like little lines, like crease lines, from ironing our chef coats. It was literally, they would check our tongue for piercings. They check our hair to make sure it was of natural color. I mean, it was
Oh
a boot
man.
camp of culinary school.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
so
I didn't know they got that
it
serious.
was it
I
was
thought being a
so
chef was
serious.
chilling.
It was so serious. It was so serious. But anyway, wonderful classes. I learned all about like the typical French cooking cuisine, European cuisine, everything. But the program that I enrolled in, I specifically went to Johnson and Wales because they had a culinary nutrition program, and so they blended culinary lab classes where you're cooking, chopping, dicing, grilling, sautéing, frying, throwing fried calamari in the fryer, and then having oil splatter back at your hands.
Yeah.
Oil burns are the worst.
Yes,
Surprised I
yes.
still have
I worked at
feelings there.
Chipotle for three
Oh
years.
yeah, so you
So,
know,
oh
you
yeah, I've got
know.
tons of scars.
Oh goodness, yeah, and I do too, of course. Oh my goodness, but that oil burn, yeah, those oil burns are the worst. But anyway, that program was such a beautiful blending of you know traditional cooking and learning how to cook healthy. So I had like sports nutrition cuisine, spa cuisine, um,
What?
designing healthy desserts. It was a magnificent program.
Was it centered around like healthy cuisine? Was that
Yep. So
the course?
the course that I was in, the degree program I was in, yes, was centered around healthy cuisine. So I really
Wow.
learned the foundations of how to make healthy food delicious, which is so important, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I knew I wanted to counsel people on nutrition as a dietitian in the future.
When did you
From
make that decision?
honestly, I think this all happened at the age of 12.
At 12, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
health, nutrition, duh,
And
gonna do it for
cooking and
myself.
dietitian. Yep.
Yeah, and now I'm gonna. I
Exactly.
guess we're Italian. That's why we had that need to go to culinary school. Like
Exactly.
someday I will go. Someday I will go. When that money doesn't
Someday.
matter. I'm just not big on.
Yes.
I'm not big on
Yes.
loans.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Agreed. By the way, like for anyone that does want to just do cooking or like chef work, I would say, just start staging or really interning at restaurants. You can learn all of those foundations at restaurants.
Yeah,
The benefit of the program that I went to was they did blend culinary nutrition, and that was unique. So
that's
that was
fucking cool. That's
totally
really
worth
cool.
it. So
Yeah.
worth it.
Is that where
Absolutely.
you got your master's? Do you have a master's in cooking?
Yeah. So no, the bachelor's is in culinary nutrition, and
Okay.
then after that, I continued on to get my master's in nutrition and sports performance. So
Wow.
yes,
Wow.
yes,
You've
yes.
got all the knowledge. Okay.
I wanted to be that triple threat,
Yeah.
fitness, nutrition, cooking. And then little did I know that the whole mind, body, spirit would play a role in that center too. But
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all the same thing.
It's all like a huge circle. But yeah, the culinary nutrition program, one more thing that I would say about that is, I wanted to pair cooking so that I could show people that healthy food can be delicious. Because
Yes.
do you want to sit across from a dietitian that is telling you, all right, like go
Here's
eat
some
an
chicken and
apple?
broccoli.
Yes, go eat some grilled chicken, some broccoli, and some apples for a snack, and then some quinoa maybe if they're fancy.
You get some salt and pepper.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh
Yeah.
no.
The
But you can't.
bodybuilding diet. I
Yeah.
hate those things.
Oh my goodness. It's
Ugh.
horrible,
Ugh.
horrible,
No,
horrible.
you can eat gourmet as shit. Like I eat pretty keto most of the time.
Mhm.
So like most of my dinners are steaks, and I would say that if I was to serve you one of my steaks, it tastes better than like an $85 to $120 steak that you go buy at a restaurant. Especially because that restaurant, like even if you go to a gourmet restaurant and you buy like $100 steak, it's probably USDA, prime choice, not organic, which is
Absolutely.
which
Absolutely. Makes a huge difference.
dude, it's crazy how over time your senses develop and change towards the meat. For me, like when I smell an organic raw beef now, it smells like sweet, delicious candy. Like,
That's like me and my veggies.
yeah. Are you
I mean, really
vegetarian?
both. I am not. I am
No?
not. No. But veggies are my candy, especially if you sprinkle on a little coconut aminos on them. Oh my gosh, like
Coconut aminos?
yes, coconut aminos. You've gotta do that. So this is my little chef secret. All right.
Okay.
It's not, I don't know if it's that big of a secret, but anytime I'm cooking vegetables, if I'm gonna roast them in the oven, I chop them into bite-sized pieces, toss in a big bowl, olive oil, salt, pepper, maybe some Mrs. Dash or whatever herbs and spices that you want to use. That's highly underutilized in American cooking.
Yeah,
We
I
need to
use
start using
tons
those
of herbs and spices just on
yeah,
everything.
throw it in there. They're
Go.
medicinal. They all have some good benefits. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
go for it. So
Yeah.
I'll do that, but I also sprinkle in coconut aminos. A little bit goes a long way, so I'm not doing like a swimming
What's the
pool
benefit of it?
The benefit of it is that it's like super delicious. No, okay, I don't know if there's any health benefits necessarily to the coconut aminos, but it's made out of coconut nectar. So it's really just like two ingredients, like coconut nectar and maybe water, or it might just be coconut nectar as the
Which, I mean,
ingredient.
coconut's great for you anyways.
Right. And so I know that coconut nectar, it does have like trace amounts of nutrients. It's not like it's not gonna be your vitamin, but
yes.
But it's
So
gonna
is
give you
it
a
is
little
it for the
something.
flavor profile for
It's really
most
for the
part?
flavor profile,
Okay.
and it's a beautiful replacement for Worcestershire sauce or for soy sauce because it's way lower in sodium, and then it's soy-free and gluten-free, which some people need to stay away from.
Oh, I think I saw that. Is it a brown liquid?
It looks like soy sauce. It's in the Asian aisle, like right
Okay,
next to
I was
soy
at
sauce. Yep.
I was at Fry's yesterday, and I saw that next to the soy sauce, and I was like, I don't want any of that. I got the
Oh
soy
my
sauce.
gosh, you made a mistake.
Okay,
You made a big
I was like
mistake.
coconut aminos.
I
No,
mean,
I just didn't have any idea. I was like, that looks
yeah.
some weird stuff. I don't want a soy sauce replacement.
Right,
But I mean,
right. But
okay,
it's so good. It's so good. And so instead of it being salty like the soy sauce, it has just a hint of sweetness. It doesn't taste like you're pouring caramel sauce on your food. It just has that beautiful slight hint of sweetness that I think you would appreciate because it sounds like your taste buds are pretty like nice and cleaned out from the typical American diet. So
yes, most definitely. I can
yes.
taste the little things.
Yes, excellent, excellent, excellent. So that's what I would do. I would toss it with the vegetables and then throw them in the oven. Otherwise, if you're sauteing vegetables, then I would just add it at the last minute of cooking. So,
Okay.
just as you would like use wine to deglaze a pan, you use that at the end, right?
Is that how you
Um,
use wine you use wine at the end?
you
That's
use
why
wine
I
at the
always
end.
screw it up because
That's
I
why
put
you
it at the
always screw it
beginning.
up. Yep,
I
exactly.
completely stopped using wine in
Exactly.
cooking because I kept just messing because I was cooking with it the whole time. You just put it at
Right.
the
You
end?
put it at the end for like the last 1 or 2 minutes, because there is some
Hey.
sugar in both the wine and the coconut amino. So if you put it in the beginning, it's gonna start burning
Yeah,
because
yes,
it
exactly.
reduces too quick. So what you
Okay.
want to do is get the color on the vegetables or on the meat
Uh-huh.
that you're cooking, and then add the wine or the coconut aminos for the last 1 or 2 minutes. Just let it slightly reduce, and then pull it off the heat, and then boom, you got fire.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
might have
Thank
just
you.
changed. Wow.
Yeah, you
Thank
know,
you.
that's what $120,000 gets you.
Now you know when to put the wine. Because have you ever seen that movie Babylon AD with Vin Diesel? It's kind of like
I
a
have not.
post-apocalyptic.
I
Okay,
have.
I pull random movies out of the blue for
Uh-huh.
ever, but it's this like post-apocalyptic world, and the scene starts with this like gangster song going on, and Vin Diesel just walking through this post-apocalyptic like bazaar like market, and he buys like a rabbit, and he buys an onion, and he goes, and I see him like cooking it, and he puts it in there, and he just pours a bunch of wine in there, and that was the only thing, the only reference that I ever had for cooking with wine, and it never worked
Mm.
for me.
See, yeah. Instead, you should have been watching like Julia and Julie, which is
Oh,
about
that's a
Julia
good
Child.
movie.
Yeah, that
That is
was
a
yeah.
good
So
movie.
you need to pull that one up,
Okay.
and they'll probably teach you about the proper wine cooking techniques.
Okay.
There,
Julie
yeah.
and Julia, that movie makes me cry every time. Like
It's a
happy,
beautiful
beautiful
story.
tears,
It's
man.
such a beautiful story.
You know, it's actually funny. The movie that made me get interested in cooking was Ratatouille.
Mm, such a fun movie.
Oh
Such a
man,
fun movie.
I was like that made me fall in love with being in a kitchen and cooking, man, and just I've always wanted to do that. Like at some point in my life, I would like to own a restaurant. I just don't
Mm.
want that to be my main pursuit because it probably is gonna fail. Because most restaurants
Not when
do.
you put 110% power into it.
That's true, but that's not true. I mean, I bet you money there's tons of people putting 110% undivided attention to their
Right,
restaurants and still go
right, and
under,
still going
especially if
under.
COVID hits, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling for
Can't
the
help it in
restaurants
there.
right
Yeah,
now. Yeah,
man, man.
absolutely. But
Okay.
Ratatouille, great movie, and I think my favorite part about Ratatouille is that they made that delicious ratatouille dish, which is all the different vegetables
Yeah.
like eggplant, squash, zucchini, tomato sauce, like beautiful. Like that picture of the dish of the ratatouille and the
So
different colorful
delicious looking.
dishes that they were making was what I saw on TV as a 12-year-old that got me interested in this whole career path. But yes, that's amazing that Ratatouille, inspired your
Dude,
cooking
if you're a
technique.
little kid, go watch it, okay?
Go watch
Sure,
it.
there's no little
If
kids
you're an
watching this,
adult,
but
we won't judge you. We won't judge you if you're watching it
still
either.
go watch it. It's a beautiful movie. Like that scene where Remy, the brother rat, and they're in the trash area out back, and he's like taking the cheese and the strawberry, and he starts like shoving it on his mouth. He's like, wait. Take one bite and then take another bite and close your eyes. And then they did that, and the fireworks started going off. And I was like, I want to create that for other people.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's
Yeah.
so beautiful. That's
Man,
so
that
beautiful.
fucking
And it's
movie.
amazing what food can do with the right pairings, really.
Yeah,
Of food. When
definitely.
you cook things properly and just have the right pairings. I mean, I even remember, I wish I could say this was like kombucha and a fruit pairing, but it was in culinary school. We had like a sommelier, I hope I said that right, a wine connoisseur, and come in from Germany with 12 different wines, and we did like a fruit and wine pairing, and like we
Ooh.
tried the wine, and then we tried it with the fruit, and like there was one wine in particular we had to try it with grapes, and then we had to try it with apples, and I just remember trying it with the grapes and having that like together, the experience on your taste buds together. It tasted like trash. It tasted like trash. But then you take the apple and you have the wine, and it tasted like heaven all of a sudden. And it's just
That's
so
magnificent.
amazing what like these different flavor combos can do. And so
Hmm.
it's just interesting. I know Ratatouille kind of touched about like the importance of using these flavors. You were mentioning it, but yeah, I'm just to the audience. You know, I just would encourage. I know we mentioned too, like using herbs and spices, but really just seeing how things pair.
Yeah,
How is that bottle of kombucha going to pair with your steak, or how is that bottle of kombucha going to pair with the coconut curry or the coconut
ooh,
aminos Brussels sprouts? Like all these flavors they do mesh together. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Huh.
it's beautiful. It's
Yeah, that's really
beautiful.
really cool.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you got your master's in nu not in nutrition, or is that the workout?
I got my master's in sports nutrition
Sports nutrition,
and clinical dietetics. It was kind of like a dual.
clinical dietetics. What is
Yep.
clinical dietetics
So clinical
specifically?
dietetics means pretty much I can do medical nutrition therapy. So I can work with patients that are in hospitals or outside of hospitals, and give them specific instructions on their disease states. So whether it is heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, brain issues, autoimmune issues, food allergies.
Hmm.
Technically, like registered dietitians are the only ones that are qualified to work with the disease states. That's not to say that there's tons of nutrition. There's great nutrition certifications out there where people can um, help improve like weight and body composition, and they can do things that are going to undercover like help with heart health and liver health and kidney health, but they can't really like say that they're focusing on that, right? So
Right,
so
right.
medical nutrition therapy, it's just for clinical dietetics, it just gives us a little bit more leeway to work with those conditions. But most dietitians, well, not most dietitians, but a good amount of dietitians work in hospitals.
Hmm.
That was not for me. I did what I tell people is I did not go to culinary school to feed people through tubes, because a lot of
Yeah, you want to
people.
prevent the tube.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. A lot of people in hospitals are either getting tube fed or they are getting like sugar shakes by like certain brands out there. I don't know if I want to mention them on the podcast, but dietitians don't have as much power. From what I see, as what they can do on the preventative side in hospitals. So like in hospitals, I think we can do a lot more than what hospital dietitians are kind of constrained to
Well, and
do.
we need to shift the entire medical industry to preventative medicine, anyways.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And preventative and reversing, right? But
Yeah,
in
yeah.
hospitals, when you're seeing patients like come in and go out, like you can't follow up with them, you can't follow through with them. It's just like not really the best place to be. And I remember even going through my internship working in a hospital. There was someone that just had a heart attack that I had
Hmm.
to go and visit, and they're like they're wonked out on all these meds. They just had a heart attack. They probably don't care about anything I have to say because they're just happy that they're still on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And they just want to reach out to their loved ones and say hi, let them know that they're okay, let them know that they're happy. And plus, they're also, like I said, zonked out. So their brain capacity is not fully there from some medications that they might be on after all of this, after a cardiovascular event. So
Yeah.
anyway, I had to go in and like talk to them and give them like a nutrition education, and it's like,
It's like,
do you think he's listening? Exactly. Like
Say, get out of my
yeah,
face.
get out of my face. Like I don't want to listen to you. And so that to me was not a very fun experience. So I was like, yeah, there's definitely going to be more opportunities on the outside of these hospital walls. And so, but that is, I am very grateful for learning all the medical nutrition therapy because now I can help the people outside of the doors either when they first have certain abnormal lab values like cardiovascular labs popping up, like cholesterol, blood pressure labs, um, liver labs. Like I can help prevent the actual heart attack, and I can also help you after the heart attack to make sure that we can prevent worse things from
that's
happening.
really cool.
Yes.
I actually, while you were saying that, I had a cool idea, maybe a thought for me. So, do you know who Tony Robbins is?
Oh my god, I love Tony Robbins.
Tony
Yes.
Robbins. Okay, so recently he just launched this new website called mastermind.com. And it's a platform for hosting online classes. So, for instance, I'm about to make a class called Living Rent Free and Making a Supplemental Income Masterclass.
Ooh, love it.
Right. So, and then, so it's like you pay a monthly fee and you can host this class and you get to charge whatever you want for it. So I was just thinking, like, have you ever thought about maybe doing some kind of like framework for your process that you've developed and then turning it into a class that you can then give to people that way? And if you
Absolutely.
did, it just came out today and it will be the most excellent time. And you can actually, they have an offer right now where you can go and you can get the software for 14 days for $1. So you can
Wow,
try
no
it
kidding.
out. Yeah,
Amazing,
yeah,
amazing, amazing. Absolutely. That's thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't
yeah.
know that it especially just like launched today.
It just launched
Um,
today, and
it's
I'm
amazing.
sorry, they have a private Facebook group called Build Your Brand Challenge,
Oh, wow.
and like actually I would check it out today because they have like they've been doing it for the past 5 days. They've been doing 2 hour sessions each day of like teaching. So like the first day they taught you the framework for building a framework. So the framework for breaking down what you've done and then turning it into a digestible thing for somebody else. And
Ooh.
then they taught you like how to create a funnel of people, how to put your information out there in front of like 100K people a day for free without marketing. They teach you a bunch of other things. Like it would be worth staying up a little late tonight to go on
Oh,
there.
yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I,
I will risk my cortisol hormone spike by staying up a little late
Yeah,
for getting through
and
that. Yeah.
yeah, what I mean, and there's only like, so they have an intro, they have a 30-minute teaching session in the middle, and then they have like an outro. So if you just maybe fast
Amazing.
forwarded, so you can tell they're on like a whiteboard, so you can tell when they're teaching, and you just fast forward to the
Uh-huh.
good parts of each day. So
Amazing. Love
there's
it.
5 sessions.
Little hack there.
Oh my
Love it.
goodness, I have learned thousands of dollars worth of information
It's incredible. It's
for
incredible.
free.
That's this is we're bye bye universities. You know, like
Yeah, that's what that's what
this
they're
is the
trying to do.
future. There you
Yeah,
go. Yeah,
is self-taught learning.
it's
Yeah, all
amazing. It's
online
so
self-taught
beautiful.
learning because
So
degrees don't
beautiful.
really matter anymore. I mean,
No,
unless you have a
no.
dietitian degree, that's cool,
Right,
or
but
like a medical degree. But
even so,
like
like
I have
yeah,
a
diet.
bachelor's degree in business management. It doesn't mean anything.
It's all
It
going
means
by the
nothing.
wayside. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think our generation is kind of like the last of it. Like, like I even said, like if I wanted to go and be a chef, like if a 13-year-old came to me and said I want to be a chef, I would be like, go work in these restaurants.
Yeah, just go
You'll
work.
learn it
Go
for
do
free.
it. Go make it
You'll learn it
happen.
for free. And then if a 13-year-old came to me wanting to learn how to be a dietitian, like I would teach them. And then, yeah, we might have to put them through a certain type of school to get that, credential.
Hmm.
But you can learn so much, without the degree programs.
Yeah.
Business, I mean, business, marketing, all this stuff
Yeah,
can be
marketing, business,
learned.
you can learn that online
You
for
can,
free. I
yeah,
didn't learn anything about business in business school.
right,
Not
right,
one single thing.
right,
Like
right.
the best I got was putting textbook definitions to the thing that I was experiencing in the job that I already had.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's what you call that when this person does this or there's this hierarchy or we have a weak matrix environment, and I'm so glad that I understand that now.
Yes, yeah, yeah, right. Like, but if you can just if you can just learn on the job the skills and just know how to do it, who cares about the background, like definite, like the history of everything coming
Yeah,
together and like the
it's
definitions of things. Yes,
pointless. Yeah,
it
just
is.
make your
Yeah,
dreams come true.
make your dreams come true. And like now everything's available online. We have these mastermind websites coming out.
Hmm.
I think another website like Coursera is like Harvard or Stanford
Yeah.
has like online
Oh, I
classes for
saw that they're
free
doing the
now.
heart. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
YouTube. I mean, the amount of stuff I
So,
learned on YouTube,
hmm.
and actually, oh, I'm gonna get myself in some hot water here, but
Let's go. Let's
even
dive in.
yeah, let's just preach the truth here. I mean, even with the bachelor's and master's nutrition information that I did learn, I mean, a lot of it was fantastic, and a lot of the fundamentals like I did need to learn, especially when you're thinking about like medical stuff, right? Like lab values and understanding what medications are doing what and which ones to avoid and all this and how food interacts with everything and just what the general standards are for which
Hmm.
foods for each disease state. Like this is all yes important and so I do understand that, especially in the medical world. Like there are still certain things we need to be aware of about the anatomy and physiology of a body and how things work, right? But I can tell you, like 90% of what is helping me to reverse people's conditions and
Mm-hmm.
lives, and like just improve their lives and improve their quality of life. This was all stuff I learned online, in books,
But I
on
mean, the
YouTube.
science is changing
The
constantly, isn't
science
it?
is changing constantly,
Yeah.
yeah. And I can't say that the universities are keeping up as well as they could be.
Right.
So
That's definitely true.
so
Yeah.
yes, you need anyone working in the medical field or the healthcare field or any field. We need to be constantly keeping up with the books, with the research articles, with everything. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
like I have actually underneath my computer. Do you know who Ben Greenfield is?
I do not.
Oh man,
I'm
you're
getting
gonna
so many little nuggets of
yeah, you're
information here. I
gonna
love
you're
it.
gonna
Full of the
love this
wisdom.
guy, Ben Greenfield. He is a leading guy in the biohacker realm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like literally right here, it's a book. It's called Boundless: Upgrade Your Brain, Optimize Your Body, and Defy Aging.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
this thick and this wide, and it's not small spaced. It takes you through like how to get rid of EMF, how to do like every single thing, and it's cool because he's a millionaire, so he has like a hyperbaric chamber in his house, and so
Amazing.
right. So, but he's like, okay, so here's this hack. Here's the result you're supposed to do. Here's the science. And then here's like the cheap way to do it, the expensive way to do it, and then the millionaire way to do it. And then so he gives you like those different levels. So, like, for instance, a cold water plunge. You know, you can
Yeah.
do like a cold shower. Or if you have a little bit more money, you can go buy a deep freeze. Or if you have a
Yes.
little bit more money, you can buy like an actual cold plunge or get a membership to a cryotherapy. So you got those different levels depending on how much money you can spend.
Love
But
it. Love
but
it.
for
Love it.
everything, like
That's
all of it.
incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, you know, my dream home will have a cold plunge.
Cold
We'll have a
plunge,
hyperbaric.
sauna.
Yeah, sauna. Red light therapy room.
Yes, yes. I actually it's cool because red light therapy is becoming super cheap, and you don't have to get a Juve anymore because you can go on Amazon and you can get like a light this big for $50.
No kidding.
Yes,
No
I use it every
kidding.
day, like every
No
day.
kidding. And have you like been feeling some improvement since you've been
Yeah, I do 20 minutes on my head and 20 minutes on my balls. And I like within
I
a
love it.
yes,
Hey,
hey,
hey, prostate cancer, like, or not prostate cancer, prostate issues of all
yeah,
sorts.
and testosterone. My
What
dad has
is
low
it?
T. My dad has low T and ED, so I'm like not trying to get those
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So like I
You're
literally,
not, wait. You're not trying to get those
I'm not
things?
trying to get those things. Not
Nut.
trying to. No.
NUT? Nut?
NOT. Nut. Oh. Yeah, I want to be able to bust a nut forever, please.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like,
I mean, and that helps with circulation. So there you
yeah,
go.
I mean, and like, and I actually do an ice pack. So I do an ice pack under and light over.
Oh my
So you
God.
got that double testosterone production, and within a
Amazing.
week, I can feel the increase in testosterone running through my body.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and like you get that little uptick of energy throughout the day. You know, I do it in the morning, and you can just like, oh, like I can feel it. You know, and then like I'm bald, so I am currently attempting to see if I can hack my body to grow the hair back without getting like a hair transplant. Like I'm not necessarily like I like the way I look. It's not a self-conscious thing. It's simply like I want to see if this is possible. Like, is it possible to change what I put topically and internally and change the conditions within my body to reactivate hair follicles that scientists have previously said is impossible to do.
Yeah.
So I've been using that, and in combination with there's this guy named Ian Mitchell, and he owns a company called 360 Health, and it's based upon using some specifically molecular structured molecule of carbon, and it's in the shape of like a beach ball. So it's got like the carbon on all sides.
Is that like carbon 60?
Yes, carbon 60. Yes, exactly. So he created a topical hair growth serum of carbon 60.
Yes.
Yes.
And you've been using it.
It's working. Like, it's not working as fast as I would like. You can still see it, but like for instance right here, there's tons of peach fuzz, right? Like, you can't see in the camera, but there's tons of peach fuzz right there that wasn't there at all months ago.
Amazing.
Then like
Amazing.
this is 3 to 4 times darker than it was. And then and then there's no more actual bald. It's completely peach fuzzed. So I'm waiting for it to turn black. If it turns black, I'm good to go.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I was bald for 3 years. 3 years.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
And he has like an internal he makes carbon 60 for every cell in your body.
Amazing.
And he
has
a
taking that internally?
I bought the one bottle and then I dropped it and it spilled. And I haven't gotten the money to buy it. It's kind of expensive to keep up with both of those, plus all of the other supplements, the protein shakes. And so you gotta pick and choose.
Completely
pick and choose where you spend that money.
I think I have like my whole supplement, cabinet over there, and it's hard to.
Yeah, it's a whole grocery list.
It's a whole grocery list, and they all have a different purpose and have some great benefits, and so totally understand it. But that's amazing that so is it a shampoo?
No, it's like it's the same application as minoxidil, Rogaine. It's just like a little drop, put it on there. It's really easy. It's a two thing serum. So there's an activator and there's a serum. And the way that he found out, like because he owns a lab, he's a scientist, and his daughter came in one day and was like, "Dad, your hair's going away," and his ego was like, "No." So he went in the lab and whipped something up, put it on his head, grew his hair back, forgot about it, put it on a shelf, forgot about it, and was like talking to a friend about it a couple years later, and the friend was like, "Wait, did you just say you fixed your balding? Can I have some?" Gave it to his friend, worked for his friend, and now he's selling it. And it's like as powerful and eventually probably will be like a prescription drug, but because it's not approved by the FDA yet, it's dirt cheap. It's like comparatively for anything else. It's probably, I think it's like $60 for 3 months.
Amazing.
Like $20 a month.
Hopefully the FDA doesn't get their hands on it.
Right. I doubt they will, because then they'll have to get rid of all of the contracts and things that they have with minoxidil.
Right. Yeah. Good.
Well,
Well, let's keep the natural items, on this end.
Yeah. He has a pet one too. The study that he cites on it is when he gave it to mice, it increased their lifespan by 99%.
Incredible. It's like one of the biggest antioxidants, right? Like carbon 60 is like one of the biggest antioxidants that we have in the body. It's such a powerful antioxidant.
Yeah.
And such a powerful anti-ager. So it is. That
incredible. Carbon 60 with some glutathione drips. Let's go.
You're done. Saving the planet with glutathione drips and carbon 60.
Yeah. Have you ever done a drip?
I have, yes, but that was, in my days of drinking a little bit too much, so I
that was fun. I have some party years, man.
I got instant results, but no, I haven't done like a full-on like glutathione protocol or anything, but I have had clients that I've worked with that have done the glutathione drips for like kind of like a protocol of it, and they said their life was totally like changed while they were on it. They had tons of energy.
I found a IV spa thing. Like it's like IV spa / cryotherapy. There's a few of them in the Metroplex here in Phoenix, and it's only like $40.
Really?
Yeah, for like a glutathione drip.
That's amazing. I had no idea. I thought they were like 120, 150.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Wow.
There's also this one place. It's called Optimize. With the Y at the end.
I haven't been there, but I know about it.
It's so cool. If I had a little bit more money, it'd be worth it. I think you need to be a little bit more on the wealthy side, because to utilize it to the degree that you would want to utilize it.
Right.
But I went, and for your first visit, it's $20. It's cool. You go in there, you get the compression sleeves, then you do a 20-minute sauna session, and they have like a 33-degree tub and a hot tub that you can go back and forth from, and it's pretty freaking cool. Amazing. It's really cool.
We need more of those places.
Yeah, but for me, I'm really frugal and cheap, and I don't like to spend money on those expensive things. So I'm like, how do I do these biohacks on a cheaper level? So I actually bought a foam stand-up barrel tub that
Wow.
on Amazon. So it's like it's the shape of a barrel. It's made out of foam. You just put like sticks in the side, and it gives it its structure, and then it fits inside of my stand-up shower. And so I literally almost every single day I'll use it either for hot or cold. So I'll do like a 110-degree bath for 20 minutes with some Hare Krishna chanting, and then
Love it.
oh man, it's beautiful. And then I will do, and then because we live in the desert and the water comes out so hot. So when I do, like if I want to do an ice bath one day, I have to prepare for it 24 hours in advance. So I take the hot bath, leave the water in there, let it cool down overnight. While it's cooling down, I'll go into my kitchen and I'll get miscellaneous like mixing bowls and water. Like I have maybe like 30 water bottles. Somebody brought water bottles over to my house and left them, and I was like, okay, well I'm gonna use these. So I have like 30 water bottles that I fill up with water, and I stuff my freezer full of all of these things, freeze it all, and then in the morning I empty it all out into my bathtub, and then I can bring it down between like 45, 52 degrees. And then I can get into that, and then I'll either do like a 15-minute plunge or a 30-minute back and forth between that and a hot shower.
That is so incredible.
It's
I
cool.
love that. That's so ingenious
And
to
you spend
create your own.
$50.
That's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, because I don't know. And then but a hot bath doesn't replace a sauna all the way. It's like a sauna is my magic, like happy place that's the best hack I've ever had in my entire life. It just so golden.
But I mean, we do live in Phoenix, so it's like 115 degrees right now. So nature is our sauna.
Have you heard or do you know Dr. Rhonda Patrick?
I do not.
Nope. Okay, so she's a doctor. She has a website called foundmyfitness.com, and I don't really know exactly. Maybe she's a research scientist. I'm not sure. But she gives a bunch of cool information, and she has this article about saunas that is based upon this Finnish study that says using a dry sauna that's 175 degrees plus for 20 to 25 minutes, 4 days a week. So 175 degrees dry sauna, 20 minutes, 4 days a week, can decrease your chances of dying from all-cause mortality by 45%. It will decrease your chances of dying from sudden cardiovascular arrest by 65%, and it will decrease your chances of getting a neurodegenerative disease by 71%.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. And I mean, it's so easy to do, right? We can all sit down. And it's not like no one wants to exercise, right? I mean, I see a whole broad spectrum of clients, from like super motivated to not. And yeah, when I share like, oh, like let's get 10 minutes of exercise, they look at me like I have like 20 heads, right? I get some of those, and then I get some other clients that are like, oh yeah, like I'm already doing like an hour and a half of working out, or even an hour, folks. Like just get outside and get moving for 20 minutes, a day. It doesn't need to be drastic, but anyway. For those folks that are looking at me like I have 10 heads when I'm recommending just a little bit of exercise, if I told them to go sit in a 20-minute, in a sauna for 20 minutes, and if they couldn't do that, like, come on now. Like, that is literally, you're sitting down, like, just sit down, and relax. Yeah,
it's a mental game. When you get to 12 minutes, you start dying.
Right. But at least start with the 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, 5 minutes, go out for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes,
and then naturally you'll probably have to learn how to meditate while you're, starting up a sauna session.
Yeah. See, I think I've seen people do that, but I personally, I'm a raver. Like, I love EDM concerts.
Oh no! So you're in there dancing.
Yeah, so I'm in there. I got my music going. I'm just go. It's like trying to go as hard as I can.
No wonder why you're dying at the 12-minute mark. You're getting in a cardio pump session.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there, just bouncing away. And if nobody else is in the sauna, I'm dancing, just getting it, having some fun in there.
That's amazing.
I did have another question for you. I'm curious. Can you walk me through what it looks like when you work with a client, like from beginning to end? Like, I want to know kind of what that process looks like.
Oh, goodness. That is such a good question. Okay, so pretty much right now I'm working at like an outpatient clinic. So it's kind of like a community clinic. So all it is, it's an office building where the diet where it's just dietitians working. So people come
That's
in.
cool.
It's amazing. It's
It's
amazing.
just a building, just an office, all
Just an office,
dietitians.
all dietitians. Yeah.
That's all you need.
That's all you need in this world.
I mean, pretty much.
Oh, really, guys? Oh
Actually,
my God. Yeah, go ahead.
I have one small
yes,
question
please.
that I forgot to ask a couple times. I'm curious. So, when you're a licensed dietitian, does that come from your master's degree in diet?
Oh.
Or was that a separate school after the master's degree?
Yep. So, to be a dietitian, I believe they changed the parameter. I think you do need a master's degree now. A few years ago, you only needed a bachelor's degree in nutrition. But I do think they made it a requirement to get the master's. I got the master's just because I wanted that extra bonus. It wasn't required, but I wanted to be an expert, right? And so for now, yeah, I believe it is you need a master's, but the key component to be a registered dietitian is that you need to complete 1,200 hours of a nutrition internship. So that's a lot of hours. So
that's like a year, right?
That's a year. Yep, that's a year for most programs.
Right.
And so I did it both. I kind of, well, what I did was I went to St. Louis University. I did a master's degree program there, and the master's and internship is usually combined in 1 year. I ended up being a research assistant, so I could get some money, get some scholarship money to pass my degree. And so I did the master's the first year, and then the second year did the internship. And meanwhile, getting my master's and doing the internship, I was also working for the St. Louis University basketball team, cooking up their meals.
Were you getting paid for that?
I was getting, you better believe I was getting paid. Waking up at 5 in the morning, going and cooking the breakfast from like 5 to 9, and then going to
That must have been really big pots, like really big pans.
Oh, they were the size of me. They were giant, like the size of like our skillets were the size of like a computer desk, like a full-on computer desk.
Right. So the things you see in those like crazy
industrial kitchens.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I was cooking for the basketball team, you know, using that $120,000 culinary degree.
Were you said St. Louis? Were you in a different school now?
So my bachelor's was at Johnson and Wales. And then my master's was at St. Louis University. So yeah, they were two different programs.
Beautiful.
But yeah, I was doing all of that at once. So for that, to be a registered dietitian, yes, you need a 1,200-hour internship. And so what that usually consists of is working and rotating, just like a doctor would rotate through like their residency. We would rotate through different like clinical diagnoses as a dietitian. So 1 week or a few weeks we'd be working with heart patients. Another couple of weeks we'd be working with cancer patients, then diabetics, then liver patients, food allergy patients, kidney patients, all sorts of different things. And primarily it was kind of like in hospitals. I also worked at a few meal delivery services where I was helping with the meal planning there. And then
that's really cool.
Yeah, some outpatient facilities. So it was really cool. But yeah, so there was a lot involved. There's a lot of schooling and credentialing involved in dietitian. So I do try and push people towards like asking a dietitian on some things, but there also are other people that are trained in nutrition that have wonderful advice. Just no matter what, whether it's a doctor, a dietitian, a nutritionist, a fitness coach, fitness trainer, like never take what they say verbatim. Like everybody needs to realize this: you need to be your own doctor.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
because
that's for sure.
No one cares about you or your health as much as you do, and no one has the time to care about you and your health as much as you do. And that's coming from someone that pours her heart and soul into her clients, okay?
Right.
Because I do, and I take such good care of them. But there's still, it's ultimately your responsibility to take care of yourself and to uncover the answers, right? And to go to people in these fields to accumulate the knowledge that you can use to heal your own body. But the power is within you.
Right.
So,
yeah. And we're also uniquely different, and there isn't one size fits all diet plan or anything. And like everybody's, like different. Like my mom can't really have dairy, but I'm fine with dairy, but we like, other than that, we have pretty much the same diet. So, but when she has dairy, it kind of kicks her out of the ketosis thing, and it just kind of screws with her. And it's just very interesting how, I came out of her and we're so different. Like I can eat 3 pounds of cheese in a day. And I have. I realized that once because I ate like 2 keto fathead pizzas, in a day, and the bread or the dough is made out of like a cup and a half of cheese, and you got the cheese on top.
Wow.
So I had like two, and then I got like because I bought one of those like giant bags of cheese from Walmart, not organic, and it was gone in a day. I was like, oh my god.
Amazing, amazing. We need to get you one of those cheese hats from Wisconsin.
Yes, yes. Okay. So
Amazing.
so back to the question. Walk me through what it looks like with a patient or a
Yes.
client.
Great question. So pretty much our clients come into us. They're usually referred by a local doctor in the Phoenix area. Some of them just find us and call in, and we'll schedule them. But what we do is we have 1 hour to sit with our patient, which
That's
is
not enough.
wonderful. It's actually wonderful though, because
Is enough?
it's. I can tell you, there's my patients. I can tell you the amount of times that I've gone 10 or 20 minutes overtime with my patients has been quite often.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they get follow-up visits. So
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
Beautiful.
So I mean, I'm sitting with them for an hour each session. But I mean, some of my patients I've seen 50 times. Okay, so like I have
Yes.
given they've been with me 50 hours, but on average, most patients come anywhere between 4 and 4. I would say on average like 4 to 15 times. So they do get a good amount of time with us.
That's beautiful.
Which is much better than, think about when you go to the doctor, okay?
Nothing.
You're getting 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And
they're not even telling you. They don't even know nutrition.
No. Because they get what, 2 hours of nutrition training
In their
school.
entire MD.
Yep.
I saw a video for that yesterday.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know that's been going around. I saw that one too,
Yeah.
and good. I mean, it's the truth. It's like it's what's going on. Like they get 1 or 2 hours.
Pushing pills.
Pushing pills. I mean, pharmaceutical reps, right? Like I don't know. Sometimes some doctors turn into just
Right.
pharmacists, right? But
Right.
but in that 7 minutes that you're sitting with a doctor, usually you don't have a chance to speak. Usually it's just the doctor, like, going around checking your
Just
heart rate,
answering
your pulse,
questions.
yada, yada, yada. Before you know it, you feel like you've been spun around like the Tasmanian devil and the doctor's gone. And it's like, wait, I had a few questions here. Like,
Yeah.
wait, I have a surgery scheduled for tomorrow. Like, what is going on? Or I have 10 medications now that I have to take. Like, it's just nothing's explained to them.
Yeah, and I would go so far as to say at least 50% of the doctors that I see that are just like regular primary care doctors are not taking care of their own bodies.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yeah.
And they're like, "Can you bend over and touch your toes for me?" And I'm like, "Can you?" Like, come on, bud.
Right. And it's like, oh, sir or madame, like you have to go and like lose some weight. I think your BMI is higher than mine. And BMIs are not like a good range, but a good estimate or fact or figure. But anyway, their BMI is probably higher than mine, and you're telling me I need to lose weight.
Hey, come on, get out of here! Quit poking me.
You're telling me not to drink soda. Meanwhile, I see the big gulp, sitting in your office. It's just, yeah, we definitely need to practice what we preach when we're in the healthcare,
Zevias. If
Yeah,
you like
there we
soda.
go. Yeah, there we go. Nice plug
good.
right there. Such a
So
good
good.
substitute. Yes,
Oh,
for
man.
regular soda. Which, by the way, folks, if you're drinking soda, just pour that down the trash.
You
because
don't do that.
Yeah,
It's
if
poison.
anything, if nothing else from this conversation, like guys, just go and get rid of the soda.
Don't drink
It is
soda.
liquid garbage.
48
running through your
grams of
body.
sugar. That's
Yeah.
half the can.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the
really crazy.
So
It's really
you
crazy.
so you meet a customer, or you meet a
So I
client,
meet a client, yep, and then
and you have a 1 hour. Is the first hour like a discovery period?
the first hour is usually kind of a bit of a discovery, and I like to, in that discovery, the first couple minutes is really going over their medical history, and then their typical food patterns, how often they're going out to eat, who's cooking at home, where are they grocery shopping, what are some of their favorite products that they're buying, what are their GI habits like. Guys, we're supposed
What is
to,
GI?
so they're
Gastrointestinal?
gastrointestinal. Yep. So, I have clients that come see me that are having a bowel movement once a week. We are supposed to be doing this like 2 to 4 times a day, folks. All right.
Ooh,
So,
yeah.
like clean that out, because if you're congested in your stomach, your head's gonna be congested, your brain's gonna be congested. Like we need to
Once a week?
once a week. Yeah. I mean, I've heard even worse. Once every 2 weeks. I've heard even worse. But guys, like, oh, like why
That scares me.
that's scary. Yeah, it should. It should scare anybody. And this is like years. People have this going on for years where they're not going to the bathroom. So,
I didn't know that
um,
was humanly possible.
it's a medical mystery to
I
me,
mean,
you
it
know?
would be nice to not have to poop for a week.
Right? It's
That
like
would be
kind of a
great.
little bit more convenient, right?
Right. Yeah. Like I have my body in a schedule, and it's like one time a day at
Right.
the same time every day, and then you're good to go, and you don't have
And
to
it
think about it.
and
But
that it kind of it should be working on the schedule, really.
yeah,
It's your body's meant to run that way. So that's excellent. So good
yeah.
job having a good
Everything has
bad
a
habit.
circadian rhythm, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And going to the restroom is like one of the big ones. Going to the restroom, getting some sunlight in, and sleeping and waking at similar times, and like with the sun and moon cycle. So it's incredible. But
Yes.
so
So discovery period.
we'll go over that. And what else do we go over? We might go over like I like to really dig deep into these conversations with my clients. So I like
Yeah.
to see like you know I had a client that was binging on cookies and ice cream. No, sorry, it was actually Chinese food every Friday. And as we were talking, I found out that there was actually like physical abuse from her childhood. She was 60 years old, by the way, but there was physical abuse from her childhood, and she was
She was
still
60.
going. She was 60 at the time,
Okay.
but the abuse
It
happened in
happened
her
when she
child.
was a kid.
And she was still going through like court hearings, and the court hearings were every Friday. So after the court hearing, she would like have all this emotional re-trauma from her childhood pop up, and she'd go fix it with, or not fix it, but go like try and suppress those emotions with the Chinese food, and would have binge sessions. So that's something like I need to know about,
Yeah.
okay? Because then I can help my clients find alternatives to the Chinese food, and then I do have like tactics up my sleeve to help them with the emotional trauma as
Can
well.
you reveal any of those here, or are those trade secrets?
Those are not trade secrets. Really, with the emotional trauma, like there's so much that goes into it. First, kind of, not all dietitians are like supposed to be going into this work. Like, some dietitians could just hear this topic and say, okay, like we're gonna get you to a good therapist. I like to touch on a few of these pieces with my own clients because I'm working so intimately with them. Not all practitioners have an hour to work with them and don't have multiple sessions like I do. And I understand from the food perspective, from a physiology perspective of what Chinese food does with the kind of some of those addictive properties in their MSG is very addictive. And then there's some other salt, sugar combos that are in this food that's making it addictive from a physiological, biological perspective. And then that mental part is going to worsen that whole biological perspective too. So anyway, what would I do if there was emotional trauma popping up? Well, I will work with them to kind of, first of all, give them a space to talk about it. Okay. Sometimes we just need a space to talk about it. And when we're given that space, depending on how the conversation flows, we might be able to, in that session, have her literally re-speak a more positive story of what happened.
Right.
Okay, because life is all about perspectives, right?
Right.
So if we can change your perspective on what happened, that is going to reprogram your mind. And Dr. Joe Dispenza talks all about this, right? And Dr. Bruce Lipton talk all about reprogramming your mind. So in that session, we might be verbally re-explaining that story. I might give them homework to go and write down that positive story 3 times to kind of reverse. I like to, even in my own life, if I say something that's like a bit of a negative or limiting belief, I say it in the reverse 3 times to kind of like totally wash that away.
That's
so
cool.
I'll take that approach to, whatever story they might be having and going on. And we might want to write down that negative story and burn it, Stay away from the brush in Arizona, make sure we don't create any wildfires,
Yes.
but we might want to burn it, physically burn it, and then, reread the positive story. And then we might want to take it a step further and create 3 specific outcomes that were positive stories, right? There's always a silver lining. I don't care what it is. It's always a silver lining.
Have you ever heard of Byron Katie's Love of What Is?
I have not.
Oh my goodness. It would be, I think, from what you're telling me, I think it might be a super, super useful tool in those practices. So it's called Loving What Is, and she's created this thing called the work. And you can do the work on anything, any thought, any past thing that you're having trouble with. And what it is it's not like any aha moment or something. It's simply meeting irrational thoughts with reason. So there's a set of 4 questions and then a turnaround, just like that's your turnarounds of I'm willing to do this or whatnot. That's what sparked this thought. So the question is do you know that that thought is true, like, or that belief or whatever, like, because when you think that something is, like, if you believe something should be different than what it is, then that is you thinking that reality should be different than what it is, and that is you predicting the future, which you can't do. So, like, if you have a thought or you're freaking out about something, that's my little cat. If you're having name is Molly. I have a cat door in my actual door.
We've got the VIP appearance.
Hey, yeah, she came to say hi. But so you ask yourself, like, do you know that that's true? And if pretty much to everything in all of life, you don't know, you can't know, you really can't know, so you don't know that it's true. So then it's like, actually I have it right here.
Yes.
I was talking to my mom about something the other day on the phone yesterday, and she was like freaking out about it, and I was like, Mom. And I walked through these questions at the very end. She was like, wow. She was like, you just did your first session. And I was like, wow, I did. I'm so glad that you feel better. This is awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So the questions are, is it true? Can you really know that it's true? Then the second question is how do you believe or how do you react when you believe that thought? Then side questions to that second question would be, how much of your life is based on it? And what do you do and say when you believe it? And then the third question is can you see one reason to drop that thought? And please don't drop it. Then the fourth question is can you find one stress-free reason to keep the thought? Then you say, who would you be without the thought? And then you turn it around. So, like, if you say, like, I never want to experience this again. So then you physically out loud say, I am willing to experience this again. In fact, I want to experience this again. Like, and then it's a part of the process of loving what is. And then she says that, like, once you practice the work on a few different things, like right here, like I have, you can't really see it. It's the work. I have 6 pages of things that, like the last exercise in the book is you title 6 different pages of, like, never ever again, I want, this should, and you go through all of your different beliefs.
Wow.
And you do the work. You're like, do you know that it's true? But who are you? And you just meet all of your beliefs of thinking that reality should be different than it is with reason and thought. And then eventually it, like, lives within you, and you can do the work in the moment while things are happening. And then eventually the work will meet a thought before it comes to your brain, and it'll be pure.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is absolutely incredible. I love that whole process. I mean, just laid out to completely help to detox that thought from the mind and give you a different perspective of it. That's all what it's about, is really, flipping or switching perspectives so that we can rewire the brain. That's the thing. We all have power over this brain of ours.
Right.
Sometimes it takes some rewiring. We're not all like bubble boys and girls in our childhood, right?
No,
like our
not.
Parents don't give us this pure world and don't give us all these pure thoughts and emotions. Like, and even if they do, we can still interpret it in, like, the negative sense. I remember my father, like, not giving me a Reese's peanut butter cup when I wanted one day, and I still remember this. This was like I was like 5-year-old Britney, and I still remember this, and I pretty much held on to it as if it was a trauma, right? So even if we do have, like, perfect childhood, which doesn't exist, anything, even if it was like a not super negative occurrence, I could still interpret it as a trauma, and that's why, all of us have some work really to do, some repatterning, reprogramming, and what you just explained is such a beautiful way in order to do it. So thank you for sharing.
It's a good read. It's called I'm gonna Loving What Is by Byron Katie.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
It's cool.
gonna look into it, and that way I can help my clients more.
Yeah.
So that's really great. And then something else that the audience can look into is, like, EFT tapping. I'm not it's kind of when you tap and say certain beliefs.
It's the here and then the here and then the.
Yep. kind of there.
I
Yeah.
started doing that one time and I felt a little weird. I was just like, I don't see how this
Right.
works.
Right,
But
right, 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 right. But it would work because, there's the physical body, there's the emotional body, and then your cells. And your cells can hold on to certain emotions, and certain pockets of cells can live in certain areas. And so if you can tap and get it flowing, you can kind of get it detoxing. So it's
yeah,
another way to kind of reprogram the body. Plus, you're engaging the brain when you're
yeah.
tapping. So it's just another tool to use. But
I've
I'll
heard
share.
some
I'll
CEOs and
share. Yeah.
executives that tout that as
And
a
if the CEOs and executives are using it, I want to too. CEOs
exactly.
and executives using EFT tapping, using cold water therapy, red light therapy, hyperbaric oxygen, nutrition. All right, yeah, we
Trying
gotta
to
look
live
this
to
stuff.
180 here.
Yes, yes, amen to that. Why
Yes.
not 190, right? So
Why not? Right. Man. Okay, so you have the
amazing.
discovery period, you walk them through, you discover, see if there's any
What they're
emotional
going through.
traumas.
Yep, 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 and just kind of what their habits are. And then there's something I'm kind of missing here, but yeah, there's a whole discovery process to our sessions. But then as we progress, I do like to, I like to give them an overview of the importance of nutrition. And this is where I know I just need to like film a YouTube video so I can send it to my patients like before the
Or a
session.
master class.
Or a master class. Yeah, so when you were saying the master class, I was like, ding, 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 I need to do that. But to give an overview of the importance of nutrition, really, and how it does impact the body, to help those that are, lying a little bit blinded to the importance of nutrition on the human body, and help kind of remove that blindfold so they can get a little taste in it, right? And so I'll just kind of bridge in, like, how food can kind of like how what I was speaking about before. Every bite of food you have can either create inflammation or decrease it. Inflammation is going to cause pain, dysfunction, and disease in the body. Which side of the spectrum do you want to, stand on? Do you want to be
Yeah.
able to go enjoy the hikes with your children, or do you want to be huffing and puffing and waiting in the car? Hopefully the air conditioning's on if you're in Arizona, and just like watching their pictures. Like, you don't want to be doing that. You want to be out
Yeah.
there hiking
I
with
want to
them,
climb through the
right?
jungle gym at McDonald's. Let's
Exactly.
go.
Until
Well, I
you're
mean, we shouldn't be at
180.
McDonald's, but
Yeah. In the local parks. In the local parks.
there
we'll
you
be at the
go.
jungle
Yeah,
gym.
because I remember my dad doing that with me. That was the greatest thing.
Oh my gosh.
He would get in those tunnels with me and drive everywhere, but go to the park.
Go to the park.
Stay away from McDonald's.
I did love the McDonald's jungle gym. Not gonna
Oh
lie.
man, are those even a thing annoyure? Do they have those?
Guess I should get probably not post-COVID, but
Probably not
I think
anymore,
they
yeah.
were at a few places. But side note, if anyone's in St. Louis, there is a St. Louis City Museum, and that's like an adult version of a McDonald's jungle gym. So I'd highly recommend it. They have all
I
these
missed that
different
when I was
tunnels.
there.
And,
That's
oh
cool.
my gosh, you've got to go. They
The
have
arch
all
was
these different tunnels.
beautiful though.
Oh, it is so
and like
beautiful.
the Bay Area or whatever, the right next to the body of water, whatever body of water that was, so magnificent. You got the I don't know what you call them, the things that they have on the side of the roads, the metal poles that keep cars, but they had like magnificent like horse heads on them all
Yes,
throughout the city.
yes,
It was
yes,
so
yes,
beautiful.
yes,
And then
yes.
I was there when what body of water is that? Is that
Is it the Missouri River? I'm gonna be
probably? Huh, I don't know.
if I can.
Some crazy body of water.
I
It's
think it's the
beautiful.
Missouri River.
I don't know, but I was looking out and like it was one of those scenes from the movies where you got like this perfect like clear picture to your sides of just nice city, and then as you get to the water, it's just like this like cloud of fog, and like through it you can see the smokestacks of where they were doing the oil refinery, and then you could see the like boats and stuff and like the
So
shadows.
beautiful.
One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
So beautiful.
Yeah,
So
and the
beautiful.
food. There's some delicious
There was
food
some
there.
delicious food. There was some
Yeah.
very, very delicious food. I even, if anyone wants to go for like the healthiest restaurant out in St. Louis, it's a fast casual restaurant. It's called Symbol, SYMBOWL. I actually worked there for a little bit, and it's pretty much you go there, you pick whatever vegetables you want. They have, like 10 different or more vegetables to choose from, and it kind of is like a stir fry approach. So you pick the vegetables you want, and then you pick your base of carbs. So if you want sweet potatoes or quinoa, rice noodles, udon noodles, brown rice, you choose that, and then you can choose whatever added protein you want. If you want tofu or organic grass-fed beef or organic chicken. We had like a good quality pork too. And then they choose like these different sauces. Anyway, for anyone listening in
Symbol.
St. Louis, Symbol is where to go
Symbol. Hell
for
yeah.
some
That's really
good
cool.
food. Yeah.
That's what I like about Chipotle. But then
Yes.
they put sunflower and peanut oil on everything, and it destroys your gut microbiome.
Yes.
Like when I go, like everything, because I worked there for 3 years, and I know it's locally sourced, organic, non-GMO food, and then they put peanut oil on it. I'm like, come on!
I know. There's so many little details, right?
It's like everything else you nailed.
It's so hard. It's so hard because like they're like all these like well, I can't even speak for Chipotle anymore, but so a lot of these places like they are trying. At least half of them are.
It's so
like,
expensive to try.
Half of the healthy food, the healthy joints, they are trying to be good, and it's just there's so many little things.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
so hard, yeah.
if they have to
Get it
cook with
together,
oil,
Chipotle. Yeah.
man. But then they would have to use olive oil, and to get quality olive oil, it's expensive. It's so expensive because there's a study that came out recently that 80% of the olive oil on the shelf goes rancid before you use it.
Ooh. Right.
Yeah, so like
That
I started,
hurts, yeah.
I only use Primal Blueprint olive oil now, but it's one of the smaller bottles, and it's like $12 for like a small bottle of olive oil,
Right.
and the thing next to it is like 3 times as big, still says organic, and it's half as expensive. It's like, fuck, dude, but you gotta watch your source. It's very important.
Absolutely. We got to watch our source with everything, and nutrition is a journey, and you are ready for the olive oil conversation. You're choosing the healthier olive oil. I know I'm at that level too. For some others, like, guys, at least put down the Doritos and the chips, the hot dogs, the soda, like. Oh my goodness. But yes, there are so many layers. You're so right. You're so right. And that's the thing. We're always learning. So no matter where you are on your nutrition journey, like there's always going to be things to improve. And so I'm glad that you brought this oil up because yeah, like there's little things like ultimately home cooked meals are going to be better for example, like why you said like Chipotle's not using that.
Yeah, like when I the next day, oh man, my everything just ruined. Like I can feel it in my gut. It's pretty crazy. Good. And I'm saying good for a reason because that's another thing too I was going to mention earlier that all of us are so inflamed we don't even realize it, or at least there's people, at least all those of us that are eating the standard American diet, so inflamed we don't even notice it. It's the moment that you start cleaning out your body that you start realizing the changes, which is so I had to eat healthy for almost 2 years. I mean, I was yo-yoing because I was trying to get into it, but for the most part, over 2 years, I was eating healthy, and then had like a really long spurt of healthy, and it took that amount of time for me to be able to even notice the changes. Which it probably has a lot to do with the fact that I'm still really young, like I'm in my early 20s still. So I think maybe the vitality was low. So so it took me almost 2 years to be able to even feel that like pizza or ice cream made a negative effect. Like, cause I was eating healthy for years and I was just like, dude, like, cause I would cheat and I would eat a shitty meal and I would feel perfectly fine. Like no effect whatsoever. And then one day I was healthy for a long time and I ate something crappy and it's like, oh my God, I feel like I want to die. Like no more.
Yeah. You can have stomach pain, stomach issues, gut issues. And then kind of just feeling like hungover sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
In these foods.
Yeah.
And so it's just so interesting. I know a lot of the clients I work with, like they're coming in at all ends of the spectrum. But for those ones that are on the standard American diet and that start climbing that staircase of health and start overhauling their diet, they'll be 3 to 6 months into these dietary changes, and then they go have a cheat meal and they're like, Brittany, you were right. Like you told me it wasn't going to be worth it. You told me I would cheat, probably at some point. And you told me I would feel the effects, and I did. And you're so right. Like I learned my lesson, I did it, and I never want to do that again. And so that's where my job becomes easy.
Yeah.
So my job is difficult, front loaded in the first end.
Convincing them.
Convincing. But then once you do start transitioning, you start feeling better. Your taste buds change out. You start craving vegetables as candy and some healthy fruit and some of the healthier foods. and then you just your taste buds start losing a desire for the Doritos, for the Little Debbie snack cakes,
Oh
for
yeah.
the soda.
Yeah.
And then if you do have a cheat meal, it hurts you. It
Yeah.
either hurts you or it's not, or you feel sick from it. You know, like even in the office, like I don't want to throw this office under the bus that I'm working at, but like I've encountered along my career as a dietitian, like times where the Dunkin' Donuts are brought in, the Krispy Kremes are brought in,
Yeah, that was
and
trouble when I was working in an office.
oh yeah, right. And they love that stuff. They love
Every
the
Friday,
donuts.
man.
Ooh,
Oh, all the
ooh,
donuts, all
yes.
the things, the get-togethers. People have like leftovers, the cake. They'll bring it in. You walk past it,
Yeah,
nobody's in the break
cookies.
room.
Right, right.
So,
And then another time slot comes available in your day, and you go back for another, cookie or donut when no one's watching.
I'm helplessly, like, to this day, like, I am still helplessly an addict to sugar and carbs, and every second that I don't do it, it's a constant effort. Like, for me,
Really?
yeah, for me personally, it hasn't gotten any easier. And like, I actually just finished a 90-day total human optimization challenge where I did keto the whole time. And the first week or two, I couldn't do it. Like I like woke up in the middle of the night and made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I was like, I fucking need sugar and carbs right now. Like, ugh, like I don't care. And then yeah, and then every time you get drunk, it's like, here's a piece of cake or blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
yeah.
And then
The sky's the limit when you're drinking and the food's around, right?
shit,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Which like I never had like a cheat meal but for the 90 days I probably cheated like 6 or 7 times, but in like tiny pieces here and there. But at the end of it, no better. Like my relationship with food is no different. Like I'm actually in a cheat week right now because I'm about to do another challenge. So like for instance today I had Barro's pizza because and I can feel it in my stomach right now, and and I think it actually caused some inflammation in my knee. And I like when I sat down I was like, my knee, it didn't hurt yesterday. That's really weird. I bet it's the pizza.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
So
And that's so beautiful that you pointed that out. Yes, like the pain, the inflammation, it can get stuck anywhere. Your
yeah.
knees, your arms,
Yeah.
your shoulders, your head, anywhere, your stomach. Like,
Right. But I would have
so,
never put
yeah.
2 and 2 together if I hadn't have been on this health journey and like been able to have the sensitivity of realizing like the cause and effect within my own body and listening to it, because you're otherwise I would have felt that little tinge in my knee and I would be like, okay, I just have a tinge in my knee. I wouldn't have thought, oh, it's a fucking pizza.
Right.
Yeah.
But now that you're more sensitive and more in tune, you can tell.
Right.
Actually, when I was a kid, when I was around that like age 14 to 17, like I had major gut issues that I didn't even realize until I was like done with my master's, that like I looked back and I thought back and I was like, wow, like I had like major gut issues back then. Like I remember going to school in the middle school every day with a stomach pain, with stomach pain, and I thought it was normal.
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
You just
As a
didn't know any
kid,
better.
you don't know. You don't know any
Yeah.
better. Yeah, you don't know your body, and you don't
Yeah.
know what's normal and what's not normal. Like, doesn't everybody have like stomach ache going into school? No, okay. I didn't know until like literally after I graduated college, and anyway, yeah, all these massive gut issues that I just became. I normalized it, and I wasn't in tune with my body, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That like whenever my mom makes that vodka sauce, which is vodka is like the alcohol is cooked out of the tomato sauce, right? And then you have a ton of heavy cream and a ton of Parmesan cheese. Every time my mom made the vodka sauce, oh, my stomach would just like be dead. And then I was having so much mac and cheese and just so much cheese and cream, and those things for me personally, I do not do well with. But I didn't realize for all of those years,
Yes,
because
that's
we
what the
do
cause
get
was.
used to it. We do get used to it. We get used to the pain.
Yeah, it's like, this is how life is.
Right. But I'm here to tell people, like, no, pain is not normal.
You deserve to feel good.
You deserve to feel good, and I'd like to help people to get in tune with their bodies, to understand like what normal and health really should feel like. So it's just such a beautiful thing that you're recognizing the pizza kind of hit some inflammation areas in me.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So you're with your client, you do the
I go
discovery,
through the assessment.
you've taught them about nutrition.
Yep, I give them a little glimpse and give them some hope. One other thing that I do is, I just mentioned it, like hope. I love the people that are like newly diagnosed, like diabetic, or like newly diagnosed with something. and then I get to talk to them, and I tell them like, okay, how do you feel about this diagnosis? They act as if the world is ending, and I let them know, like, it's my saving grace that I get to let them know, like, hey, just so you know, like, actually your numbers are just slightly elevated, or even if they are like largely elevated, I let them know, like, this is for the most part, depending on what the condition is, this is 100% reversible.
Yes.
And I've taken people that have had numbers that are double yours and take them down into normal ranges, and like, this is 100%
That's
controllable
beautiful.
and reversible with food. And like, I feel like I just the brick of pressure, the cemented pressure that they felt from that doctor's appointment, because the doctors don't always have time to explain the hope that's out there, or they don't know about nutrition because they only get 1 or 2 hours.
Yeah.
So that pressure and that cement that I get to lift off their shoulders is just so wonderful. So I'll go over
It's
that.
magnificent.
And then like I get like some clients like crying on the phone when I say that stuff, but just giving that hope is such a brilliant position for me to be in. And so then the last part of the session, though, that's where for the initial, I start just giving them some foundational information, and I give them like very individualized guidance. So like, if they're already cooking organic, like fruits and vegetables and using some healthy meats and all this, and have all that down pat, their meal prepping, then there's something something that we can add on to give them a bonus. Maybe it's better meal timing. Maybe
Do you ever try elimination?
Yes, absolutely. Depending on what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it calls for, if they're having GI symptoms or brain issues or autoimmune conditions, yes, elimination diet is like a huge thing to do. In fact, I had a patient with IBS, so irritable bowel syndrome, for 20 years.
What is that exactly?
So
I've heard that thrown around so many times.
Honestly, it's literally, it's just a Band-Aid diagnosis for diagnosing someone that has either constipation or diarrhea. When the doctors have nothing else, when there's nothing in the x-rays or the scans or the scopes from a GI doctor, there's no blockages, there's no cancer cells, no nothing, but the patient is still having symptoms of constipation and diarrhea, here you go, here's your IBS diagnosis. Like, it really doesn't mean anything. It's the most
you need to eat differently.
I pray that you go see a dietitian that can help reverse this. Otherwise, you're stuck with IBS for years. And so the patient that I was seeing was stuck with that diagnosis of IBS for years. The doctors couldn't do anything for her. I don't know if it was constipation or diarrhea for her, but they couldn't do anything for her. So luckily, finally, after 20 years, she got sent to a dietitian. And she wanted to do a specific diet. It's called a FODMAP diet. It does help certain patients with IBS, but she wanted to go and do that. And the thing is, that's a very like restrictive diet. And I have no problem. Like, hey, if we need to do something like that's going to help, we're going to do it. But I was like, that's like up here on the tiers of nutrition. I was like, let's start here. You're drinking diet soda like 2 or 3 a day.
Cancer.
Cancer, liver issues, kidney issues. I mean, the artificial sweeteners in this soda is a toxin for your body. It could flare up autoimmune conditions. I mean, including things like multiple sclerosis. I mean, the list goes on with the artificial sweeteners. I mean, it's even like damaging to retinal cells, which I'm sorry, but like the greatest sense that we have.
Retinal cells is
your eyes. Yep. And this is one of the greatest senses that we have.
Yeah.
So
And it's super important.
We're damaging our eye cells, like, bye-bye, like, have fun with the cane, guys. But anyway, so artificial sweetener is not good for our body for so many reasons.
Is there a difference, because I know a lot of people don't know, is there a difference between artificial sweeteners and sugar alcohols?
Oh, yes, they are. Like, they are a different branch. Sugar alcohols, they're all the different sugar alcohols and the different artificial sweeteners, they're pretty much just a calorie-free form of sweetness. So they're all different in their own ways. They are different categories, though. Artificial sweeteners versus the sugar alcohols are just grouped differently, but they all have something that they're not good with. They all are hurting us in some
So
way.
would you advise against Zevios? Because
that's a little different. Okay, when it comes to stevia and monk fruit, those would be the ones that I don't touch. I don't talk about. I don't negatively talk about.
That's what I was hoping, because I have lots of talks with people and they're like, oh well, you're drinking freaking Zevia. What's the other word? Urethral. What's the difference between urethral and
Erythritol
Zevia? Erythritol.
So erythritol and stevia, they're just two different things. Like I have found like evidence that it does hurt the gut microbiome. So erythritol, I don't really like to mess around with, but stevia doesn't seem to have many negative effects from what I've seen. But I have not dug deep into the research, so I don't really. I would personally use some stevia. Like if I want to sweeten my coffee, or I don't drink coffee, but if I want to sweeten my matcha tea, if stevia is around, I'll use it. If coconut palm sugar is around, I'll use it.
Yeah, I like monk fruit. Monk fruit's good.
Or monk fruit. Yep.
Okay,
yep,
coconut palm.
So any of those, like.
But I wonder, like, because for instance, if you go buy organic stevia from Walmart and you go look at the ingredients, it says erythritol.
Oh yeah.
The label says stevia. It's just very confusing for me.
They're diluting the stevia with erythritol. Yeah. So
at least it's not pure erythritol.
Right. Yeah. There you go. I believe the stevia drops though. I think those might be pure stevia. It might be worth looking into. But
okay. Yeah, I'll try that.
But yeah, it's just so hard. Like the thing is, like they sneak things everywhere, right? So. But
especially
Walmart. Yeah, especially Walmart.
Maltodextrin and everything. Everything. All of it. Everything that you eat. Just shove that filler in there. So crazy. And it's
the maltodextrin and just like all the other fillers too.
Cornstarch, corn fiber.
Yeah. EDTA, like what the heck?
Yeah. I made some keto brownies from just like a premix yesterday, and I made him started eating it and then looked at the ingredients and it was like corn fiber starch, and I was like, Jesus, like that's not supposed to be in there.
Right. Now I gotta worry about the quality of the corn and the GMO part of it. It's all a work in progress, right? And really what I tell my clients is health and nutrition, it's a staircase, and so just start with what you can and just keep on climbing. You're not gonna be at the top of the staircase at the start of your nutrition journey.
Yeah, like when I first started, I didn't really understand, and I bought sugar in the raw. I was like, okay, I'm doing something better for myself. I started using, eating bananas and fruits and all these different things. But then I was still eating like lots of gluten and bread and other things. But I thought it was cool because it was whole wheat, and then you eat the brown rice instead of the white rice. But then you learn that the brown rice actually sits in your gut longer. It's like, geez, man, there's so much to it. But yeah, it's definitely. And then like once you take that first step and you get that first teeny tiny step down, you feel a little bit better. You're like, okay, now I want to jump to the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and it's just kind of like this snowball of momentum towards feeling better and better and better and better all the time. It's really cool.
It is so cool. And that's what I like to just tell people, so that we can all be patient with ourselves when we are on this journey. We don't have to all eat like a crazy health nut dietitian on day one. And I didn't even eat like a crazy health nut dietitian. I thought I was, like years ago. I thought I was. And I realized, wait a second, did I really eat that?
Yes, no, trust me, I understand. Yeah, there's so many things that you think, like when you go from that ignorant, completely I have no clue American diet to I've never heard anything about health, and on that journey you're like, okay, well shit, this is unhealthy, okay, I think this is healthy, and you find out 2 weeks later it's killing you. It's like, damn it.
Darn it. I thought I was doing good.
So is there any diet that's your favorite?
Ooh. Okay. Good question. It really depends.
I mean, it is individualized, but
overall, like, as much like whole foods as possible is going to be the best route. As much whole foods, making most of your beverages like plain water, and then when we want a little something else, doing a Zevia or two a day, having a kombucha, having. Is there any other drinks I would do? Having some smoothies, and like if you want to do like homemade juices for your beverages, but
or electrolyte blends can be really good.
Blends,
like I have this lemonade one, it's 0 sugar, 0 everything, and it's so good. Perfect. It tastes just like lemonade.
It's not Trace Minerals, is it? Is it the Trace Minerals brand?
It's the first time I bought it. I'm not too familiar with it.
Well, I know that there is a Trace Minerals brand that's good for electrolytes. I think they have flavors and stuff. But yeah, you know, that's with it for the beverages. For the food though, just eat as many whole foods as possible. You know, the more ingredients that you can't pronounce that you can prevent coming into your body,
Yeah.
the better. And so if we can do that, that's wonderful. So as many home cooked meals from Whole Foods is the best. And no matter, I'm not a huge proponent of the like, carnivore diet. I do believe like the more vegetables, like the better. Whether we
Yes.
want to do vegan or do the meat eating approach, it's up to the individual. I know, I get it. Like vegan is not for everybody. Some of us need the meat to ground ourselves, and just we just run on different. We all have different
Yeah.
cellular
Yeah.
structures going on, and different things that we need for our bodies. But in general, whole foods, home cooked meals, limit the ingredient lists, drink your water, boys and girls, and that's really it. Personally, I do think that the more wheat and corn products we can stay away from, and then the GMO soy, I do think the better. And that's simply because the way that we're processing these things nowadays is not how we used to.
Hmm.
Um, we've tested, there were at a health resort that I did work at, we were testing an ancient heritage grain of white
Heirloom
flour,
wheat.
heirloom wheat. Yes, and we were testing it on um, individuals that were gluten sensitive, and they weren't having reactions on the heirloom wheat.
Yeah. Did you know
Yeah,
that there's actually a few American companies who
really.
are making heirloom wheat? Like I
Wow.
found heirloom wheat from a company in California that's like reasonably freaking priced on
Wow.
Amazon in 1 day
Wow.
delivery. I was
Wow.
like,
Okay.
because I was
All
thinking that
right.
you would have to order it on from Italy, but not
Right.
anymore. We
Wow.
got some American companies working on bringing heirloom wheat
and
back.
and then if that's the case, so if it is heirloom wheat, then all for it, you
Yeah,
know. But if it's like the processed wheat,
it's no good.
you
All that
know,
gluten.
yeah, not
That's
good,
why we
not
have
good.
gluten insensitivity.
Well, yeah, it's the way that we're growing our crops nowadays. It is totally different, and it's pretty much attacking what the fact that it is so genetically modified. Our bodies don't recognize it anymore. So when it comes into your body, it gets tagged as like an antigen, just like a coronavirus cell would be tagged as an antigen. And what does that do?
Yeah.
That creates an
And
inflammatory response.
yes.
Yeah, and
Yes,
so
exactly.
so that's why like I don't push people on gluten-free diets. I just say like you're going to have gluten, like have the higher quality versions, have the organic versions. Don't have bread for every meal. Don't have white pasta for every meal. Like
Sourdough bread.
choose your quality, and that's kind of how I feel about yeah, really the corn, the soy and the wheat, but also I'm going to whisper this, the meat too, like the better quality meat we can do too, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
be
yeah.
better
It
for
makes a
us.
huge
Yeah.
difference like when you eat like organic
Conventional
grass-fed
versus
meat versus
organic.
it's so big. I
You can
recently made the change and
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's crazy. I actually but I found this really cool halal grocery store and they because halal requires them to have a nice healthy grass-fed non-GMO life
Mm,
and the prices are the same as USDA at Walmart. Like there,
mm,
it's literally there's actually a few around the Metroplex. It's called Baez, Baiz, and they have like I got 3.5 pounds of ribeye for $28,
it's incredible.
grass fed,
Absolutely
freaking
incredible. Absolutely.
glorious.
Yeah. And there
I
we go.
did. I was curious. Would there ever be a situation where a client would come in and you'd be like, "I want you to go on keto, or I want you to go paleo, or I want you to go vegan, or to see this," or when you decide that they need to go on an elimination diet, do you push them more towards like eliminating and becoming closer to vegan, or eliminating and closer to carnivore? I guess that was two different questions. So, like,
So,
which diets do you ever recognize that, and then which elimination direction do you push?
right. Honestly, it's still those whole foods that I'm
It's
pushing
just the
them
whole
on.
foods.
However, if it was a kidney patient, I would steer them. A kidney patient, I would push more vegan, and that's just because when your kidneys are not filtering and not working to optimal capacity, it does have a difficult time to break down that nitrogen that is attached to the protein molecules. And so with kidney disease, that's when I would push someone on the vegan side. For anyone else, I don't really necessarily push vegan. I wouldn't put in terms of carnivore diet. Would that be just like you mean like omnivore diet, or like more so like mostly carnivore
Well,
diet?
for
Like
me,
how?
like I was to do, like, if I was to have a problem and I'm like, shit, like my gut's messed up, I need to fix this, I'm gonna go do an elimination diet, I would probably eat steak and eggs for 30 days personally, to and then slowly add different things back in. But when I first started on this path of health and nutrition, my thought was, okay, I need to do an elimination diet. Let's eat all leafy green vegetables for 30 days. So like I was just curious, which direction do you push them in?
Yeah.
Or is it subjective?
It's hard. Where would I push them? It'd probably be more so. Honestly, I see more results probably with eliminating, like, first and foremost, processed foods and artificial sweeteners. And actually, that's what cured the IBS patient of 20 years. Like, she wanted to come in and do this whole on, like, elimination style diet of a FODMAP diet, which involves cutting out specific branches of vegetables, fruits, and legumes, like, in a certain, like, meticulous way.
Yeah.
She wanted to do that, but we cured her IBS by just getting out of.
So you simplify this shit for people.
So I simplify it. So I take them in the steps, right? And so first and foremost, elimination of processed foods, artificial sweeteners, fast foods.
Okay.
And then I see so many improvements there. If we still have gut issues, that's the next level, honestly, because gluten is just such a big item.
Yeah, if you the less gluten, the best. No gluten.
It kind of like, for certain, what I'm seeing anyway in clinical practice is that the gluten can be an issue. Like, so first and foremost, processed foods, fast foods, artificial sweeteners. Then if we're still having issues, I do go to gluten, and dairy seems to be another culprit. And then from there, I don't know if I've had to cut anything else out. So I haven't touched the meat or the vegetables or the fruit, really, for most people.
So
yeah,
basically, if you're a whole food omnivore, you're good to go.
Yeah, so because what I am seeing is most problematic is those added ingredients in the processed foods.
Interesting.
And those inflammatory oils that's being used in the fast food restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, and so those are because there's so many gut irritants in those long lists of foods. I mean, those are so many potential bullets in that list of, like, nutrition facts that's on the Dorito label. That's like, 20 different ingredients that I don't recognize, that all of those could be a potential bullet. But don't pick on my broccoli, which is one ingredient. Yeah, there might be some, like, Roundup on it, and that's no bueno, and I understand, but that's like a higher tier. So first, let's cut out all of those potential gut irritants, all those
glyphosate's like last.
No, glyphosate, yes.
Glyphosate.
And that's why, like, it's one thing if a patient comes to me and, like, wants to dive deep and do all organic fruits and vegetables, but, like, if they're coming to me eating McDonald's every day,
go to Walmart and go to the fruit section.
Go to Walmart first. Like, let's just eat the conventional fruits and vegetables. We'll get you to organic if that's what you want to do. That is really, like, the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But we don't need to start there.
The stepping stones. I like this. I love your approach. I love your approach. I think the thing that you take your clients through is kind of the natural steps that I've been through over time. That's really cool.
And it's what I've been through too. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing.
Huh.
And that's what helps make it a lifestyle, right?
Yeah. So, right. It's not like, okay, do this diet, this fad, or blah, 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 and then you just yo-yo. Okay, so I'm curious, specifically, what is your opinion of keto?
Keto. Okay, this is good. This is such a good question.
Oh, man, I spiked something excellent.
Yeah, you did. So first of all, keto has different meanings, okay? So are we talking about keto being like 10% protein, or 10% carbs, or 20% carbs, or 30% carbs, or 40% carbs? So
the typical, when I speak about keto, I'm talking mostly, I guess there's two versions that I either talk about or think about. One version would be the 75 25. So that'd be 75% fat, 20% protein, 5% carbs, which would typically look like zero sugar and under 20 grams of carbs a day. Or if you're fat adapted, and you're, like, really athletic, you can probably go up to 60, 80 grams of carbs a day and still stay in there. Or like a protein adapted keto, which would be like 50% carbs, 50%, or not carbs, 50% protein, 50% fat, which is interesting. I like, personally, that's where my body goes. But I guess just for reference of what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, So keto, I'm more of a fan of it for patients that are like epileptic, which is kind
Yes.
of like a brain issue because the ketones they really do have a different different they have different pathways for how they're utilizing fuel, and so keto for um, the epileptic patients, I think it's wonderful, and that's really kind of where part of it, like part of the research is on the epileptic
Yeah. Yeah.
patients. Now I know, I get it. I know the health optimization world. There is some things.
It's a
There's like
super big fad right now.
there's a lot going on in the keto world, and no matter what, like I'm always gonna say, everybody's body is so different. So no matter what you do, I say as long as you're working with a healthcare provider that can maybe do a hormone test on you to make sure that nothing's being out of balance, and then also making sure that you're paying attention to your own body, that you are being in tune with your body,
Hmm.
checking your cognitive behaviors,
Yeah.
making sure that last Friday before I started keto, I can still read the same book at the same speed that I could.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we want to make sure that the cognitive parameters are not being changed and harmed in a negative manner. Same thing, your physical performance. So if you're checking your brain and its function, checking your physical performance and its function, checking the hormones, um, and I was going to say something else, but of course I forgot. But as long as you're getting all of this looked at,
Yeah.
then any diet can work for you. Now, the reason I am hesitant on keto is because we do know that the brain does prefer glucose as its main fuel source. Can you adapt? Yes, you can. Your body is an adaptive machine.
Hmm.
Um,
That's why it's
what
called
about
fat adapted.
right? Exactly. But long term, like
I wouldn't.
we
I mean,
can't
I
go
personally don't
polio.
advocate strict keto all the time.
Right.
I like to do cyclical keto.
Yeah.
So I'll do like it. You have to do like strict keto for 2 to 4 weeks, and then you become like super fat adapted. And then after that, like I'll do at nighttime for dinner. No carbs throughout the day, but then at dinner time, you can do maybe like a carb reload with a couple tablespoons of honey or like a sweet potato. Pretty much those are the only two that I use. But
Hmm.
and then it actually helps a lot with the sleep. It's an interesting thing. Like sometimes when you get super into keto, and like deep dive into it, like people's
Hmm.
sleep will start getting interrupted. And if you do like just a tablespoon of honey before you go to sleep, just
Right.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy the difference.
Amazing. It's like a sleeping pill just with the honey.
Yeah.
Natural melatonin right there.
Yeah, my brother, we're super similar diets, and he tried the honey too, and he's passed the hell out. It was really cool.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing. I didn't know that. It's a nice little hack for anyone
yeah,
on the keto diet. So yeah,
yes.
those are what I would say about the items I would say about the keto diet. If we were going to do hormone testing, I recommend the Dutch test. It stands for something that I cannot say right now, like dried urine, something. So Dutch testing.
Uh-huh.
That's a great test to use to test all of the hormone
Why
levels
would you
inside
test
of
your
it.
hormones?
Just because technically when we're keeping out, so we have the three macronutrients: the carbs, the proteins, and the fats. If we're cutting one so low, that is a stress on the body.
Yeah,
And you could risk potentially throwing hormones out of balance, which is something we especially want to watch out for females. Like females, we really do have more complex hormone
I feel like
systems.
females are more complex in almost
In
every
general,
way.
our brains are everything. And so, whether it's female or male, I would say we want to, get our hormones tested and just make sure that nothing's going out of balance.
And there's
Because
like testosterone, estrogen. I don't really know any other
Yep.
hormones.
Leptin, ghrelin, thyroid hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. Like
Oh, cortisol is a hormone? I knew that
mhm.
cortisol was a thing. I just didn't know what
Yeah,
category it was under.
it's a hormone that gets
Okay.
produced when we are under stress. So possibly going on keto diet could increase that cortisol. Which guess what? If that cortisol is high, you're gonna have trouble losing fat mass. Okay, so I get it. Keto diet is like what a lot of people are on for losing fat mass. But if we're jacking up that cortisol level, you're not gonna be losing fat mass. You're gonna be losing water. because carbs hold on to a little bit more water than protein does. So it's so complex, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and it's different
this is
in
why
personalized.
work
That's
with
why
a
you get a
healthcare.
dietitian. That
Yes,
way they
yes,
can.
yes. Work with a healthcare provider. And one little thing I do want to mention about keto, um, again, everybody's different in how we feel. If we're feeling great, if the hormones are in balance, if our physical performance is improving, great. Um, but long term, I just worry a little bit about that protein content being that high, because it's tipping the scale. Like, so it's like a pie chart: carbs, proteins, fats. And if I'm cutting out carbs to 5% of my diet, now I have a little bit too much fat and protein for my body. What does that do? It is going to put a little strain. A little might be a loose term, might be a nice term, on my kidneys to filter out all that nitrogen. Okay.
Hmm.
And so what do we do with that? I mean,
Those are free
hopefully
radicals, right?
yeah,
Is that another
yeah.
word for that?
Well, it would be pretty much creating an inflammatory response and causing
Yeah, see, I
anything.
like to mitigate all those things. Like I'll put multi peptide collagen on top of my steak, and then I
Mm-hmm.
also dose myself with turmeric twice a day,
Uh-huh.
and then cold showers. So
Mm-hmm.
there's lots of inflammation reduction.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Good. And you're using the red light therapy.
Yes.
So that, yeah, where it matters, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, those things can help. And so yeah, especially with the kidneys. And then also high fat, no matter what kind of fat it is, like that's a lot for the liver to be breaking down.
Yeah,
So
and it's really hard to make sure that you get a balanced ratio of monosaturated and saturated fats. Because
exactly.
I think there's a point where I was eating way too much saturated fat and not enough monosaturated fat, and like it just, my body shut down for a couple of days, and I felt like absolute horseshit.
Right,
And I
right.
had
And
to
there
go
you
buy
go.
some olive oil and some avocados and some almonds, fix it.
Yes, there you go. There you go. And at the end of the day, again, coming back to staying in tune with your body, listening to what it needs. Not
Yeah,
one diet is going to fit everybody. So if you see your buddy down the street on keto and loving it, might not be for, the next
yeah,
person. So always
yeah.
stay in tune with the body and always check in with a healthcare professional that gives you more than 7 minutes of their
Yes, yeah.
time.
For me, it's crazy. It's like, it's almost like an amphetamine type response in my body when I'm on keto, like in terms of cognitive enhancement,
Mm,
like all of the positive without the negative of like an
mm,
amphetamine or
mm-hmm.
something along those lines.
Yes,
It's
yes,
really, really
yes. Nice
interesting.
little brain boost.
Yeah, it's freaking insane. And then you don't get the hunger pings either, which is really,
Mm-hmm.
really curious.
Yes,
You can go
yes,
longer
yes.
without food.
That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible. And that is something that a lot
And
of people
bulletproof
struggle
coffee
with.
is delicious.
Yes, 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 yes. There you go. Is that something that you drink each morning?
Um,
Bulletproof
I,
coffee?
I drink bulletproof coffee every morning, like the brand, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily do the ghee and the XTC oil.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do the ghee and the XTC oil if I'm waking up and I feel like really, like if I feel like I want the extra kick, or I feel like I want to be able to work longer without having to eat my lunch or something along those lines, then I'll do that. But most of the time, I'm trying to do intermittent fasting, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't put those calories in my body in the
Yeah,
morning.
yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome,
Do you
awesome.
do
Yeah.
you do you recommend any kind of fasting for your clients? Like
Such a good
intermittent
question
fasting or
too.
like actual 24-hour, 5-day fasts, dry fast,
Um,
wet fasts?
my clients,
Or is that too deep?
sometimes that's a little too deep for the clients that I see, because if we are eating a very standard American diet and have a lot of like health conditions, jumping into the fasting, that it takes a while. First, we need to clean your body out a little bit more and get you ready, get your body prepped for it. So I don't really use that too much in my practice. However, um, what I do at least try and get my patients on is at least doing 12-hour fast overnight, which is
Yeah,
nothing. We should
that's
be doing
nothing.
this anyway, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Like, this is nothing.
You
If
shouldn't be
we're
eat.
eating in
Yeah,
we shouldn't be eating we shouldn't be fasting any less than that anyway.
yeah. You
Because
shouldn't be
you're
eating that close to bedtime.
exactly, exactly, exactly. And you should be giving your digestive system a break for 12 hours. So I do at least try and get them on the 12-hour fast. Some of them I do get them to bump up to really like 12 to 14 hours. 16 hours can be a little risky, I can tell you, like especially from like the female hormone perspective. Sometimes that does push us a little bit too much out of it. So Again, with fasting or keto diet, like please get your hormones tested. We should always get our hormones tested. That Dutch test is great for anyone. Um, but yes,
Yeah,
the
I'm actually
16-hour
definitely gonna
fast.
do that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and then the 16-hour fast. Yeah, it could just be a little bit too much on some people's systems, but anywhere between 12 and 14 hours is totally doable. So many benefits, absolutely. In terms of like a 24-hour fast, I mean, for my own health, I do 24-hour fast. I try and do them like maybe like once a month. It's not always every single month, but
It's
I do
hard.
think
It's hard. You know, dinner to
it's
dinner.
not easy. It's
It's not
definitely not
100%
easy.
easy.
It's not
Yeah.
easy. Yeah, doing a 24-hour fast, especially when you are so active with clients and
Yeah.
all that.
Gotta
And
keep the brain going.
you got to keep the brain going. Like if I'm on a 24-hour fast, like I want to lay in bed all day. I know some people are working out and doing all that stuff. I can't do that. You know, my
Yeah.
body
I gotta
just
chill. Maybe
yeah,
a
I gotta
small
chill.
brisk
I gotta
walk.
chill. Yeah, maybe I'll get like a little pump of energy when I can do a few push-ups. But other than that, like I'm chilling, you
Yeah.
know, and not quite sure what I'm even speaking about. Like my brain function is like all zonked out when if I'm doing a 24-hour fast. Like, and it comes and goes, right? So like I've
Yeah.
done wild. I probably recorded some other videos like on a 24-hour fast, but like I'm not in my optimal capacity. So anyway, personally, yeah, 24-hour fast. I think doing them occasionally, a few times a year, great. Um, Dry fasting, I've heard the benefits of. Is it depending on what's going on? I think could be great. Water
I've
fasting.
never done a dry fast. That sounds
Yeah, the
horrible.
dry fast. I mean,
Like
it's.
those
I
people who
think
do a
that's a really
5-day dry fast. You
yeah.
fucking crazy person.
I mean, I've researched it for like really deep rooted neurological central nervous system issues. But if we don't have those going on, I just don't really think it's necessary. Like yeah,
That's
dry
fair.
fast. Yeah, can't even brush your teeth because the water that
Oh
you
shit.
going on.
Yeah.
Dry fasting is intense. You can't shower. So from what
Oh,
I've
because it'll
like
soak through your skin.
yeah.
Oh
So
man.
like yeah, it's intense. But
Yeah.
yes, the 12 to 14 hours I think for most people is great. 16 hours just be a little cautious with, and then 24-hour fast every so often absolutely can help to reset the body.
Hell yeah, that's beautiful. I am curious, what do you see coming down the future pipeline for yourself in this realm? Like, what are your future plans and aspirations?
Yes, that's a good question. So really, my future plans are to just reach a broader audience. I would love to just travel the world, be like the Tony Robbins of nutrition and health,
Yeah,
and just travel the world, give lectures,
I want to do that
host
too so
webinars.
badly. That'd be
Well,
so
let's get
fun.
together. Let's travel. Let's
Hell
be
yeah.
travel buddies. First up on the list is going to be where? Like, let's go to Italy, maybe, or
Yes, please. I got my passport. Let's do
let's
it.
go. Let's go. And we need some. We need to start stamping those passports. I know probably you haven't traveled. I mean,
I haven't used it
yeah.
since I bought it. I don't think I've
Well,
ever been truly out of the country. I've been to Puerto Rico, but
there
that's
you go.
not technically
Technically,
out of the country. It's a
yeah.
U.S. Virgin
Well,
Island.
maybe we'll be, traveling the world, hosting these seminars, and just changing lives, really. Just, preaching about the importance of health and wellness and how easy it can be. So not just, um, preaching about the importance of it, but giving folks some actionable steps that we've learned on our own journeys to help make it realistic and easy.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the missing link is people know what to do, but they have problems doing it. And I say in quotes like they know what to do because
You really don't.
they only know like glimpses of it. They
Yeah.
don't know the whole picture. But they just have trouble doing it because they're not talking to a dietitian that knows all of the almond flour based pancake mixes in the grocery store, and they're not talking to a dietitian that can teach them how to saute Brussels sprouts so that it actually tastes like candy. They're not like listening to a dietitian that can teach them how to make that colorful plate of food with the grilled salmon and the roasted medley of vegetables and the quinoa with flavor. Like they're not getting those resources
Yeah.
that they need. They're not being exposed to the kombuchas that they can drink instead of soda. Like it's just and then once you do come in contact with someone that knows this stuff and can give them the resources, now it becomes easy.
Yes.
Right?
My mom actually had the really good idea to, when everything gets a little bit more back to normal, like call high schools and middle schools and just be like, hey, like, can I come talk to your kids? Like I like to speak about X, Y, Z, and it's completely free. I take 30-45 minutes. Can I come talk to your kids, or if not the whole school, can I come talk to the football team or whatnot? And the thing that sparked that conversation was I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I was visiting a couple months ago, and me and my mom were walking around my old high school football track, and they were having like high school football summer two days, which was blowing my mind that they were doing that, all of the kids there, while school was canceled and none of them had masks on. I was very curious about that. But I guess football, Texas is a religion, and nothing's stopping it.
Wow.
but but we were going around, and I was looking, and I was thinking, and I was like, dude, those kids, they have no fucking clue. Like, nope, like they're not doing any recovery, and they're not doing any nutrition. They're just beating their body day in and day out, like hardcore lifting, hardcore running, hardcore pad hitting. There's zero talk about nutrition, and there's zero talk about ice bath, stretching, recovery, all of these different things. And I was like they don't even understand. And like, think about how many high school kids are getting hurt and having their football career ruined because they're getting hurt, when they could just like do an ice bath and eat the right shit, and then they wouldn't die on the field. Which I don't really advocate football anyways because of the brain damage, but
right.
But I mean, if you're gonna play, like, at least take care of your body as much as you can.
And optimize your performance too.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And so,
because nutrition will do that.
right. And I played football for 10 years. And so I think that mixed with this knowledge and this idea, like, as soon as everything opens, like, I'm going to call people and I'll be like, hey, like, can I come talk to your kids? Like, they need to, like, at least. And if you talk to an entire football team of 200 kids and you get to one of them, that's magic.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
That's so magic.
Beautiful. And the thing is, I bet you would be getting
2, 3, 4, 5, 10.
Exactly.
Yeah, at least a couple of them. If you're like, yo, like, do you hurt? Do you have pain? Would you like to not have pain?
Right.
Because like I ran 16 miles last Sunday, and it was the longest I've ever ran in my entire life. And I took a 5-minute ice bath from neck down, and then I did 15 more minutes from the waist down, and the next day I had no soreness. Zero. Wasn't sore at all. Like, almost 100% recovery.
Amazing.
You just taking care of yourself.
Taking care of your body using these little biohacks.
Yeah.
To help flush out that inflammation, and then refueling your body too with the right food, so you can get that muscle mass going back up, or your body can be prepared for the next workout, and so that you do have better performance at the next training or workout session. And then you might even get a shorter session because we're able to be more efficient in that time frame, instead of your coach like having to
get more done.
Drills. Yeah, you don't want to keep repeating like the drills 20 times when you can do it in 10 times, get it perfect, because now you were properly fueled.
Yeah, and you got that cognitive benefit as well.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. That's an incredible idea. I love it. I mean, same thing for me when I was on the cross country team. I told you about the apple juice that, like, I was able to cut off a minute off my time, like doing nothing. I didn't have to run harder.
Insane.
I didn't have to. It's amazing.
A minute is a long time when you're running.
It's a long time for a mile.
Yeah.
When you're a kid and like you've never run that fast in the first place. So, that was just incredible. And I remember another practice too. Like, I ate nothing. Like, I think I had like a yogurt for lunch, which was not enough food for running cross country hours later.
Yeah, no.
And I like passed out. Actually, I kind of upchucked and then like. I didn't fully pass out, but I got dizzy and weak and like fell to the ground.
Still dangerous.
Still dangerous. So not good. And yeah, I mean, if only I would have known what I know now about nutrition, it would have helped my performance on the field, on the track, and in school.
Yes, just all over. Interesting. All over. Okay, so we're getting closer to the end here. We've been through a lot, talked about a lot, and I'm curious, is there any little tidbits of information that we didn't get to, any specific things that you would like people to know, just like any closeout things?
Such a good question. So, we've talked about so many incredible topics. I think really the last tidbit that I would love to share is kind of piggybacking on the kiddos. I love that you're looking to help inspire these kids, because really I work with clients, some of them are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, and they will come into my office and say, well, Brittany, I eat this way because this is what I ate as a child.
As a kid, yeah.
And there was no dietitian appointments in between that. and when they're 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, they have this chip on their shoulder thinking that it's impossible to change. By the way, it's not. It's not on so many levels. You can change your behaviors at any age,
Hmm.
and you can change your brain patterns at any age, and you can rewire your brain at any age. But anyway, can you imagine what we could do for this world if we got to speak with the kids so that we don't have 50, 60, 70, and 80-year-olds saying that in a negative connotation. They might be saying, yeah, Brittany, I eat this way because of what I ate as a child,
Hmm.
but what they ate as a child is all the whole foods, whole foods, home cooked ingredients instead of
Yes.
the macaroni and cheese, the hot dogs, the little Debbie snack cakes, all the junk. So I would love, yeah, to
Just
see you
reach
get
them.
involved with the schools. Yeah, and reach
Yeah,
the
that's the
kiddos.
goal.
We need to get to the kiddos and help them just get them started on the
And
right
I think it
path.
would resonate with them because I'm so young. Like I'm only 23, so I can be like, yo, like
Mm.
I was there uh,
Not too long
not
ago.
too long ago. Like I feel like I was in high school. Like I can blink and be there.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so you can relate to them, and plus your sports experience,
Yes.
you can,
Yeah.
you can
I think
relate
it'd
to
be
them.
cool.
And
It'd be
just
really fun.
yeah, yeah, and just like why don't we have a nutrition? I really do wish that we had nutrition classes from the age of 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Like it
once
doesn't.
a
There's
week.
no nutrition.
There's no nutrition. Yeah,
Not like I mean we had sex ed.
right, right,
Why don't we
right,
have body ed?
right, right,
Like
right.
digestive
Yeah.
ed.
Digestive ed, so that people know that they're supposed to go to the restroom more than twice or twice a week.
Well, yeah, and
Um,
like for me, when I was a kid, like I can think back in like I remember when I used to go to the bathroom, like when I used to take a dump as a little kid, it would be an experience, like a bad, painful, uncomfortable experience. I'd be on the toilet, I would be sweating, like profusely sweating, like just like having like a whole thing going on. I'd have to take my shirt off more often than not because I was like overheating on the toilet, and I thought that that's just what shitting was. Like I thought that like that's just what my whole life was. And then, I got a little bit healthier and it didn't happen, and then I ate some shit and then it happened, and again I was like, it's literally all about what you eat, man. Like that's not what it's supposed to be like at
I
all.
and I can't deny that I haven't had those experiences as a kid either.
Yeah.
Thinking that was normal.
Yeah, totally thought you have
No,
no idea. Like I thought it
not
was just a really
normal.
painful
Not normal.
experience.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah,
not supposed
no,
to be.
no, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So beautiful, beautiful. I love that you're yeah getting involved with helping out the kiddos, and yeah, like I've been saying it for years now too. Like I wish that the kids had a nutrition class, and
Yeah. Yeah, I
it,
can go do it for
it,
free, man. I'm gonna, as
it
soon
is
as
so important.
I bet they are open up. I might actually run into the schools, go do that. Okay, so
Yeah,
I
but
I have a set. Or wait, were you about to say something?
oh no, go ahead.
Nope. I have few questions, few ending closeout questions for you that I ask every guest. So my first question to you is, what does success mean to you?
Ooh, what does success mean to me? You know, I would say success is it's such a wonderful term, first of all, because we can individualize it for everybody. So it's up to the individual to determine what their definition of success is.
Hmm.
For me personally, success is really just having an impact on the world. I think that's just my life's goal here. So
That's cool. That's really cool. I actually, because I had this is my I think you're my fourth or fifth guest, and I think like I've asked everybody, and I never once asked myself. And I asked myself that last night, and that was my answer: was having an
no way,
impact
no
in
kidding.
changing people's lives and serving other people and making a difference in the world. Like, and that's the
Mm,
definition of success for me as well.
mm,
That's really
so
cool that you
beautiful.
had that.
So
Okay,
beautiful.
so second question: what does enlightenment mean to you?
That's so deep. Okay.
Yeah, I went there.
Um, Honestly, I love this. I mean, enlightenment in the hippie spiritual sense means like going on to like the next dimension, right? And like kind of like guiding from above, which I'm sure that everybody could like go and expand on that. But for me, enlightenment is really um, that term is so beautifully powerful because enlightenment to me is going through your own. I think everybody here has a journey of darkness that they go into, right? And for me, my path in enlightenment was going through some deep dark stuff,
Hmm.
okay, where there was no glimmers of light at all, know, so it was a very dark thing, and it happened with some medical things going on where
Yeah.
the medical community couldn't help me. And so I was in a deep dark place. I mean, when the superheroes in the white coats can't save you anymore, um, it
That's a
gets
dark place.
scary.
Yeah.
It gets scary. And so I was in a deep dark place, and somehow blindly walked forward, and somehow blindly felt the rungs on the ladder, and somehow climbed my way out of the darkness. And then I somehow built my own dang flashlight. All right. And
That's you
so,
just worded that so magnificently. I built my own thing flashlight. God damn it! Yes. I
and so
blindly yes.
blindly, and I built my own flashlight, and I used that flashlight to light my own path and to find my own path. And it's been such a beautiful journey along the way, because along the way of me going forward, I've met people along the way. I've had these experiences along the way that were too divine to call coincidences. We know them as synchronicities. But I mean, I could cry just talking about each member or each event that happened along that journey of me getting that flashlight and walking out of that tunnel. And it's so beautiful. But anyway, enlightenment, I built my own light. I found my own light. I built the own path. I carved the own path. And this path that I now carved out into the realms, I almost can picture it as like walking through snow. I have footprints now that I have walked through the snow by using this flashlight of mine to just propel forward. And now guess what? Anyone else that goes through something similar or parallel, they can walk right through my footsteps with ease. And guess what? They can do it a lot easier because there's footsteps already carved in that path, and there's a light already. I have that light, and I just need to pass the light back, or be like an Olympic torch and pass that torch back, but I'm not losing that light, and I can guide forward. So enlightenment is me leading the way through the light that I, so graciously gained.
That's so fucking magnificently beautiful. Thank you so much for the answer. And
Yes.
it's so cool because what you just said is exactly what I've been listening to. Like when you go look at the Tony Robbins things, the Build Your Brand Challenge, that's literally the reason that they created it. And what they've been talking about this whole time is they've been look, you've done something in life, and now you can create a framework for somebody else to replicate that, and you can give it to them. And like they reframed the idea of selling. They were like, look, like if you have done something and you can sell it to somebody else and save them time, money, trouble, pain, all these things, then you're being a disservice to them by not selling it to them.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's really cool. I'm really excited to see what your masterclass looks like.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to create.
Dude, it's cool. It's cool. It's like they give you like this super duper simple plug and play application. So it's like, okay, so what's your title? What's your description? What's your thing? And they give you, like, if you don't know how to write copy, they give you an automatic copy generator. And if you can't find the information and you're going through this, like, text me and I'll send you the link for it.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's a totally free. So like it gives you like blank questions and then it generates the copy for you in the title, and you can just copy and paste that and put it into your thing. And then it gives you like, so you create different modules for whatever your table of contents is going to be. And then you go and you record a video and then you drag and drop the video and you put the little questions and you do the thing, and it's literally just drag and drop, boop. You put it up, done.
Absolutely incredible.
Ready to go.
Incredible. So easy, which is so good because then we can share our gifts with the world.
Yes.
Right? In an easy manner.
Yes. I'm so fucking excited to see what this thing comes out of. Okay, so
Amazing.
last question. So what is the one thing that a single person can do that would be the best thing that they can do to like have an effect to change the world for the better?
Can you repeat that question?
I
got distracted with the hand motions.
I messed it up.
I got distracted with the hand motions. It's all my fault.
Biggest thing someone can do to change the world for the better. The biggest single thing. I added a few extra words in there that confused that.
The biggest thing that someone can do to change the world for the better is to share their story.
That was beautiful.
Just share their story.
Excellent.
We all go through so many things, and if you just share your story, you're gonna connect with someone. Someone might need to hear it because they might just need a buddy to hear. They might just need a buddy. Like, to know that they're not alone, right? That might be it. Or your story might light that path, so then they can walk in your footsteps and know exactly how to get through whatever it's they need to get through. But just sharing your story has such a huge impact on this world. At the end of the day, we're all just storytellers. We all have our own experiences. Let's just connect, bring it together, unite, and grow. Collaboration, I believe, cures.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so if we can collaborate and share our stories and just propel forward, walk together,
everything's gonna be a
the
little bit better.
possibilities are infinite. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man,
Absolutely.
that's really
Such
cool.
Good questions. Such good questions.
Okay, well this has been wonderful.
This has been so wonderful.
Can you tell people if they're interested in working with a dietitian how they can find you?
So right now I am in the process of kind of rebranding and getting a website built. So I don't have the website ready to go yet, but really for Instagram is one of the places where I'm most active.
What's your handle?
That would be Fitness Chef Britney, and that's Britney, Britney. Kind of spell it like Britney Spears. So Fitness Chef Britney is where they could find me. I will have a website up pretty soon, and then currently I'm working as a dietitian with AM, A as in Amy, M as in macaroni, nutrition services. And so I do work in the Phoenix area, and that is how people can find me for now. But of course, like, they can feel free to send me a message on Instagram or
and soonmastermind.com.
Yeah, and soonmastermind.com. Yeah, so that's where they can find me. And really, like, the last thing that I would want to, project in case I haven't already is it is just like one of my goals and missions to just show people that the healing is in their own hands. I know I mentioned it before, but really the power is in your own hands. The power is within you. Don't let anybody, any doctor, anyone in a white coat, anyone on the street, any family member, any friend, let you think otherwise. Any condition, no matter what it is, can be reversed and healed and cured. And so if we just focus on finding that inner guidance, doing what I did, keep walking forward even when it feels dark, you will be able to find the material.
Build that flashlight.
Yes. Yes. And I promise you, you will get out of it. But anything can be reversed, cured, healed. Just trust your body, trust the power within your body, trust the good food, and trust the biohacking.
Yes. Hell yeah. Well, this has been freaking wonderful.
It's been amazing.
Thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you so much.
Here's my little closeout. It's 110% and undivided attention in everything that you do all day, everything. Bird King out, baby. Let's go. And let me give you a namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for being here. You have a good one. I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Thank you so much.